Good evening, everyone, wherever you are, and we thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's Miami men's basketball broadcast here on RedHawk Radio. My name is Andrew Rose here from Millett Hall in Oxford, Ohio, for the Miami men's pregame show. Once again on RedHawk Radio today, I'll be talking about the strategy for the RedHawks, the recent stretch for them in their past few games, a scoreboard segment where I preview the top 25 matchup, as well as some MAC matchups tonight, and finally, how the RedHawks need to take down the NIU Huskies, some things that they can take down and knock down the RedHawks. We'll bring that for you all here in just a little under 30 minutes. It'll be a fun one between the RedHawks and the Huskies, but right now I've got the Miami RedHawks pregame show on RedHawk Radio. So far, the Miami RedHawks versus the NIU Huskies. The all-time matchup is 35-20. RedHawks winning the series to this point. Their last matchup was at NIU in DeKalb, Illinois, where they won 66-65 in overtime. A win over the Huskies about a year ago. It was February 18th, 2023, the last time the RedHawks took down the NIU Huskies. Last year they split the series. They went 1-1 each, getting a W. And overall, this is the 56th rivalry matchup, and they're separated only by 340 miles, about 5.5 hours driving. So two of the most separated MAC teams in the conference, but these two teams definitely have a lot of bad blood between each other, and it'll be on tap here tonight from Millett Hall. So far, the RedHawks, they're 12-8 versus the Huskies, dating back to 2010, the 9-10 season. They're also on a 6-game winning streak versus the NIU Huskies from February 15th, 2020 to February 19th, 2022. They had a 6-game winning streak that basically lasted 2 years, just a complete dominating stretch for the RedHawks. But it's been kind of back and forth between these two teams in the Mid-American Conference. The RedHawks are 7-3 in their last 10 versus the Huskies. They're also 7-3 in their last 10 at home versus the Huskies. So pretty identical records, both against each other and here at home in Millett Hall for the Miami RedHawks. Definitely a huge advantage here for the RedHawks. The student section, they're going to be going in the whiteout for the brick wall student section. It will be a fun one. We'll see how they attempt to get into the heads of these NIU Huskies. But this home factor is definitely going to be a thing here that the NIU Huskies got to keep in mind. The RedHawks, they've got a nice home atmosphere. They've got some nice fans. We'll have it for you in just a little bit. Overall, between these two teams, the RedHawks are 11-11, 5-5 in the MAC. They're 7-3 at home, 4-8 on the road. And they're 6th of 12 in the Mid-American Conference. For the NIU Huskies, they are 7-14 overall, 1-8 in the MAC, 2-8 on the road, 4-6 at home. And they are 11th out of 12th in the MAC, tied for dead last in the Mid-American Conference. So far, some recent stretches for these two teams. The RedHawks, their last game was at the Ohio Bobcats in Athens, a few hours down south from us. It was a tough loss on the road to their perennial rivals in the Battle of the Bricks. The RedHawks fell 78-69 in a tough one in a very hostile environment at Ohio. Anderson Marambo led the scoring for the RedHawks with 16 points. Ian Elmer had 9 rebounds. Evan Ipsaro 4 assists. The RedHawks turned the ball over 7 times, and the RedHawks shot 7 for 20 from the three-point line. So some pretty solid numbers from deep. The RedHawks are trying to replicate that one here against the NIU Huskies, who are pretty solid at shooting the three ball. RedHawks' most recent win was at Kent State last week. They defeated the Golden Flashes earlier on. They won 71-67 about a week ago. Darwishi Hunter had 20 points, the former NIU Husky. He'll take on his former team tonight for the first time. Jaquel Morris had 10 rebounds. Bryce Boltman, 3 assists, 12 turnovers for the RedHawks. 5 for 17 from the 3, but the RedHawks won 71-67 before they fell later last week versus the Ohio Bobcats, 78-69. The NIU Huskies' recent stretch, it's been kind of up and down, most recently down. Before their last win against the Eastern Michigan Eagles, they were 2-12 in their past 14 games. They went on a 12-game losing streak before beating EMU for their first conference win. I'll talk about that conference win right now versus Eastern Michigan at home in DeKalb. The Huskies won 76-66. It was the Xavier Amos show. He had 19 points for the Huskies. It was Zarik Nutter corralling all the rebounds for NIU with 7 apiece. 5 assists for Nutter as well. 10 turnovers for the Huskies and 4 for 18 from the three-point line. It was a pretty close win, and that's kind of how all of these games have been for the NIU Huskies. They've, despite losing 12 straight from pretty much before conference play up until this point, all those games have been relatively close. The one thing for the NIU Huskies, they have a really solid defense, a really solid offense, not so really solid defense. Their defense is one of the worst in the MAC, and that's kind of been responsible for all these woes for the NIU Huskies. They've given up 80-plus points 7 times, and they've lost all of them. 6 versus MAC teams and 1 versus Iowa. They gave up 103 points versus the Hawkeyes earlier on before conference play began, and that's kind of just the snapshot of how difficult it's been here for the NIU Huskies. And they're trying to turn things around here, trying to make a run at the Mid-American Conference tournament run, and we'll see if they can do so here from Millett Hall. Well, we will step away here for a moment. I'll give you a scoreboard segment, and we'll take it from there. You're listening to Miami men's basketball here on Red Hawk Radio. So glad you could be here with us. My name is Andrew Relvas. Be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the Red Hawk Radio pregame show for Miami men's basketball. I'm Andrew Relvas here hosting the pregame show. I'll be here at halftime and the postgame show. Here for the scoreboard segment now, I'll break down the MAC men's basketball games going on tonight and then talk a little bit about the top 25 matchups, a loaded slate in the men's side of things. It's going to be a fun day of hoops if you love college basketball. So for the MAC slate, we've got Ohio at Ball State. That'll be a fun one between two conference teams that are kind of up and down but trying to separate themselves in the Mid-American Conference. The Bobcats versus the Cardinals at Ball State should be a fun one at 7 o'clock. Ohio most recently took down the RedHawks in Athens, and we'll see if they can continue their winning ways on the road. One of the best matchups of the conference slate for the year, Central Michigan at Akron. Two of the top teams in the conference, the Chippewas versus the Zips in Akron. Central Michigan 8-2 in conference play. Meanwhile, the Akron Zips are 9-1 in conference play. Their only loss, if you're wondering, was to your Miami RedHawks. RedHawks recently took down the Akron Zips about a week ago in Millett Hall. One of the biggest upsets in the conference year. And other than that, though, it's been pretty smooth sledding here for John Gross's squad versus the Central Michigan Chippewas. That one also a 7 o'clock start. Western Michigan at Kent State. That one should be an entertaining matchup at Kent in the MAC Center. Western Michigan Broncos trying to get their 9th win of the year. Meanwhile, the Kent State Golden Flashes trying to keep pace in the Mid-American Conference. A 4-6 record, trying to pick up their 5th conference win of the year. The Buffalo Bulls are on the road at Bowling Green. Bowling Green trying to avoid an upset loss to the 2-19 Buffalo Bulls coming into today. A 1-8 MAC record. They're dead last in the conference, right next to the NIU Huskies. But the Bowling Green Falcons trying not to get caught up in a Buffalo stampede at home. We'll see if the Falcons can take down the Buffalo Bulls. Bowling Green 15-7, trying to pick up their 7th MAC win. Finally, closing out the slate, it's the Toledo Rockets versus the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Toledo 14-8 overall on the road in Ypsilanti at Eastern Michigan. They're trying to take down the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Overall, Eastern Michigan 9-13 overall, 2-8 in the MAC. Trying to take down the Toledo Rockets. We'll see if they can do so at 7 o'clock. So a full slate of MAC men's basketball games for you on a beautiful Tuesday night. Take it to the top 25 matchup, a game that's already gotten started. South Carolina versus Ole Miss in South Carolina. The Gamecocks are up 19-10 on top of the Ole Miss Rebels. South Carolina currently ranked as the number 15 team in the nation. They took down Tennessee last week, and they're trying to continue their hot streak in the SEC. Game a little under 13 minutes left to go in the first half. Next one, Clemson at North Carolina. The number 3 ranked Tar Heels trying to pick up their 19th win on the year to take down the Clemson Tigers in the ACC. Oklahoma State at number 5, Houston. Houston trying to get their 20th win of the year. A very impressive start for them, 19-3. Trying to keep pace in the always great Big 12. Iowa State at Texas, the 14th ranked Cyclones trying to take down the Texas Longhorns. Game will kick off at 8 o'clock on next game after that. Dayton at St. Joseph's, number 18th ranked Dayton Flyers trying to get their 19th win on the year. It'll begin at 8 o'clock as well, so those two games also starting at 8 o'clock. Should be a fun one for the Dayton Flyers. BYU versus Oklahoma will step away here for the national anthem and then bring it right back. You're listening to Miami men's basketball here on the Red Hawk Radio pregame show. Back here for the scoreboard segment, BYU at Oklahoma, 21 ranked BYU Cougars trying to take down the Oklahoma Sooners in Norman. Game kicks off at 8 o'clock. Should be a fun one between two 16-win squads in the Big 12. Butler at the number 1 ranked UConn Huskies, 20-2 overall. Very hot start to the defending national champions campaign this year, trying to continue to stay hot. Number 17 ranked Kentucky Wildcats are going to Nashville to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. Kentucky trying to get their 16th win on the year. 8:30 start for that one. The number 25 ranked New Mexico Lobos are taking on the Wyoming Cowboys. The Lobos just got ranked into the top 25. Mashburn, House, and company trying to keep pace in the Mountain West Conference. Number 23 ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders are on the road in Waco versus the Baylor Bears. 13 versus 23, Baylor with the 13. Both sides have 16 wins. That one will be probably the matchup of the night between two Big 12 teams that are always competitive. Game starts off at 9 o'clock. Nevada Wolfpack on the road at Utah State. The number 22 ranked Utah State will try and pick up their 20th win of the year. It's trying to take down the Nevada Wolfpack. And final game of the night, the San Diego State Aztecs trying to take down Air Force on the road. 17-5 overall, 24 is their ranking. That game will start off at 10:40 p.m. East Coast time. So a full slate of top 25 matchups and a full slate of MAC matchups. What more can you ask for if you're a basketball fan? Now I'll bring you to the keys to the game here for the Miami RedHawks. How can the RedHawks take down the NIU Huskies? Give you some comparisons so far. Miami coming into tonight ranked 8th in the MAC in offensive categories. They score 73.5 points a game. Meanwhile, NIU is 76.7, so pretty even in that category. The one thing the RedHawks are at a real disadvantage to is the rebounding. They're 32 and 32.7 rebounding is dead last in the MAC. Meanwhile, the NIU Huskies, 35.5 rebounds. That's 5th in the conference. The RedHawks, they do have an upset on the NIU Huskies. They ranked 1st in the conference, 15.1 assists in the conference. Meanwhile, NIU, 10.6 assists. So the RedHawks averaging about 5 more assists per game than the NIU Huskies. That'll definitely be a big factor in this one. Should be. The RedHawks have a ton of playmakers, especially on their younger side. One category where the NIU Huskies also have another leg up on the RedHawks, it's the blocking category. NIU 1st in the conference in blocks with 5.3 per game to the RedHawks meager 2.6. So almost double the amount of blocks. NIU a very stout defensive team, especially under the rim. They've got some huge playmakers, especially in the name of Yannick Conan Niederhauser. He's 1st in the MAC in blocks, averaging 2.2. Another guy that's also top in the MAC in blocks, it's Xavier Amos, who's 4th in the MAC in blocks, 1.5 a game. So those two combined, they average 3.7. Just those two. It'll be a tough one for the RedHawks. We'll see if they can take them down. RedHawks also, they rank 2nd in the MAC in 3-point percentage, 37% from deep. Meanwhile, the NIU Huskies not far behind, 34% from deep. That ranks 8th in the MAC. Final comparison, the RedHawks, they have the 4th best defense in the MAC at 71.4 points allowed per game. And the NIU Huskies, they surrender 79.7 points a game. That's 11th in the MAC. They've given up 80 or more points in conference play 6 times, and they've lost all of those games. They also gave up 100 versus the Iowa Hawkeyes. Not taking anything from Iowa, but to give up that many to anyone, that is just a defensive disclass or sass, and we'll see if the NIU Huskies can pick it up. In terms of KenPom, the Miami RedHawks, they ranked 236th overall. That's 6th of 12 in the MAC, right where they rank in the standings. The NIU Huskies, 290th, 9th of 12 in the MAC. NIU, obviously, they had a 12-game losing streak before defeating Eastern Michigan in their most recent game, and that's kind of led to a fall in the standings, but they'll try and get back into this one. We'll see if they can do so. Overall, though, the RedHawks, they got to be very cognizant of some scorers on the NIU side, and I'm talking about David Coit, who is 4th in the MAC and scoring 19.1 points a game. He's 2nd in the conference in free throw percentage, 88%, 5th in assists. Coit is an all-around threat, and the RedHawks are going to have their hands full against David Coit, who was on the team last year. Another guy that's also one of the top scorers in the MAC, it's Zarik Nutter, who's 10th in the conference in scoring, averaging 15.4 points a game, along with 5 rebounds, and he's 10th in the conference in field goal percentage at 50%. Xavier Amos as well, a very skilled guard, very skilled forward, I apologize. 15th in scoring, 13.7 points a game, and he's one of the best defenders in the MAC, averaging 1.5 blocks a game. Already talked about Yannick Conan Niederhauser, 1st in the MAC in blocks at 2.2. Meanwhile, for the Miami RedHawks, it's the Oishi Hunter Show. He's currently 22nd in the MAC in scoring, 12.5 points a game, 11th in free throw percentage. One of the top 3-point shooters as well in the MAC, 36%. Bryce Boltman, their top rebounder, averaging 5.3. Their top scorer, Anderson Marambo, 13.9 points a game. He's been a real threat for the RedHawks. Evan Epsar, also one of the top free throw shooters in the conference, 83.3% from the stripe. And Joquel Morris, one of the top defenders in the conference, averaging 1 block a game. About 2 minutes left to go here from Millett Hall. Give you 2 keys to the games. How can the RedHawks take down the NIU Huskies? Well, first, they have to limit the turnovers. They cannot turn the ball over. NIU has a very strong offensive attack. They've got 3 scorers who can score over 13 points a game. But one way the RedHawks can get that right back, they just have to attack the paint and pretty much take advantage of all these matchups between the Huskies and the RedHawks. Mentioned a lot during this pregame show, NIU, one of the worst defending teams in the MAC. The RedHawks are going to have to take full advantage of that here from Millett Hall if they want to keep pace in a very competitive Mid-American Conference and advance further than they did last year in Cleveland, the MAC Conference Tournament. Well, I will hand it over to our broadcasters, Luke West-Poley and Will Summers, momentarily. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Miami RedHawks pregame show here on Red Hawk Radio. My name is Andrew Relvas. I'll be here for the halftime show to break down the stats between the RedHawks and the Huskies. We'll see if the RedHawks can have a strong advantage going into the half break in a MAC matchup on a beautiful Tuesday night here from Oxford, Ohio. Take it over, Luke and Will. It's all yours.
Andrew, thanks very much. Luke West-Poley, Will Summers with you here. Pre-game from Millett Hall. Miami all set to take on the Northern Illinois Huskies and the former team of Miami star player Darwishi Hunter, who will play against his former school, one of his many former schools, for a college basketball journeyman from here in Cincinnati on this Tuesday night. Will, Miami's been very up and down. There's been a lot of good. There's been a lot of bad for the RedHawks in MAC play. They're 500 overall, 500 in conference. Coming off a rivalry loss against Ohio on Saturday in the Battle of the Bricks, this team is just looking for some of that consistency right now to be able to play at a high level every single game.
Well, Luke, you mentioned this season really can be characterized in one word, and not really a negative connotation, but it's been mid. It has been mid. They're 11-11 overall, 5-5 in the MAC, and really that's about as average as you can get. And like you mentioned, they've seen a lot of good flashes, And really, right at this point in the season, as you head towards conference tournament play, you just want to keep building on those good things and making sure more of the good things happen.
Miami and Northern Illinois all set here from Millett Hall. First game back for the Miami men since the students returned here to Oxford. We'll pass it off to public address for our national anthem. Tip-off next on Red Hawk Radio. Luke West, Poley, Will Summers with you. So glad you're with us on this Tuesday night from Oxford as Miami looks to get back over 500, taking on the Huskies of Northern Illinois. NIU 7-14 on the year, 1-8 in the Mid-American Conference. Don't let the record fool you, though. This team, according to KenPom, is not one of the worst in the MAC. In fact, they sit above 3 MAC teams in that rating system, and they're coming off their first conference win of the year after a furious run coming out of the halftime break against Eastern Michigan. The Huskies pulled through for a 76-66 win on Saturday against the Eastern Michigan Eagles for their first MAC victory of the season. Starting 5 for Northern Illinois, they will go with Zarik Nutter, Zion Russell, David Coit, Xavier Amos, and Yannick Conan Niederhauser for what has been a very wounded team in Northern Illinois, who is without 5 players here this evening. For Miami, pretty similar starting 5 for Travis Steele, and the 11-11 RedHawks and Elmer Darwishi, Hunter Mackay Cooper, Bryce Boltman, and Reese Potter are the 5 for the RedHawks. Pretty solid crowd, very good student crowd behind us here from Millett Hall as they are back in town here in Oxford. Miami looking to defend their home floor. It's a Red Hawk team, Will, that is looking to take advantage of a Northern Illinois squad that can score with the best of them in the MAC, but has really struggled on the defensive side of the floor.
Well, that's what we mentioned in the pregame. Miami offensively seen some great flashes. Defense really has not been a problem all year long. Defense has been a consistent part of this team's identity, but it's really been in with the games that Darwishi Hunter has been off. It's kind of like you're wondering who's going to pick up the slack. Not that Darwishi Hunter's a lot of off games, but really the games that he does is not as effective in. You're waiting to see who's going to step up, be the real true second guy.
3 points last game on Saturday for Darwishi Hunter, his lowest of the season against a Division I opponent. Only game where he scored lower was when he had 2 in very limited minutes in a blowout win against Division III Spalding back earlier in the year. Miami starters being announced in front of this crowd, and for the RedHawks, they are starting to get healthier in some points as Miami's got Bradley Dean back for the first time at home in a little while. He returned against Kent State a couple of games ago and played against Ohio to the tune of a double-digit performance on Saturday. That was a game where the RedHawks, truth be told, did a lot of things right. They won the turnover battle, they won the rebounding battle, but Ohio shot 52% from the three-point line in that game. Bobcats just couldn't miss from deep, and with a sizable home crowd that numbered over 10,000 at the Convocation Center in Athens, it was a little bit tough sledding for this Red Hawk team, and a very young Red Hawk team on the road. That's something that these two teams share, is their youth. Miami coming into the year averaging less than 1 year per person of Division I experience. The Red Hawks sat outside the top 300 according to KenPom in experience in Division I out of 362 teams at this level. This team has learned how to win. They've had some great moments over the course of MAC play, as we've crossed the halfway mark, and we're into the home stretch of the season. Miami currently sits 1 game clear in 7th place of qualification for Cleveland. But, Will, this is a Miami team that had their sights set a little bit higher, I think, than that after placing 8th last year in the final max standings and sneaking into the tournament. They were looking to make a little more of a statement this year, and they've still got a great chance to do that here down the stretch.
Well, expectations are expectations, and I know this team has always believed in themselves even from the preseason. The outside world, not as much intel as we have. We knew this team had a lot of gritty freshmen. The freshmen were going to play a big role all year long, and they've done a really good job of that. And like you mentioned, it's even in the Ohio loss, it was a lot of character building, and see how that helps the team as we head towards March.
Miami in the home white uniforms with the red accent script, red Miami across the front and the red names and numbers. The RedHawks move left to right. Northern Illinois in the road blacks with the red accents. White Husky on the front, red numbers on the front and back with the red names along the back as well, as the Huskies move right to left in half number 1. Darwishi Hunter dapping up Zarik Nutter, his former teammate. This is a game that means a little more to number 4 in white. Spent 2 years with this program at Northern Illinois before grad transferring in to Miami. Millett Hall crowd on their feet. Ball is up in the air, and off we go from Millett Hall. Both guys swatted at it a couple of times before it was eventually pulled down on the tip-off by Northern Illinois, and it's controlled by Zion Russell, the redshirt sophomore from up top. Pushing near side, Zarik Nutter, averaging 15 a game, has it on the near wing. Post-entry feed finds Yannick Konen-Niederhauser. The Swiss national turning around through the defense. Misses short on the shot from under the basket. It's deflected out of bounds, and it will go to Miami here 26 seconds in.
Well, Reese Potter there kind of got beat on the initial drive to the basket. Lucky enough to get some help from his Miami teammate. Reese Potter really a bright future, but he had some defensive concerns getting bullied down low. But as he puts weight on, he'll be a much better defender in the future.
Darwishi Hunter with the bright green shoes on heads left to right, crossing the timeline on the center. Flip just inside the arc on the right wing for Reese Potter, the freshman from Lexington Catholic High School in Central Kentucky. Finds Makai Cooper jutting across, and now back up top, it's Ian Elmer with the white headband on. Tosses off for Potter. He'll fade away after some contact and miss it off the front rim. Rising up for the rebound, Konen-Niederhauser is down with it for Northern Illinois. Over to the far wing, this is Zarik Nutter. Into the corner. Nutter, a top 15 scorer in this league last season, averaging 15 and 5 to go with 38 assists on the year. Near side wing now, this is Amos, shimmy shake into the lane. Cutting across the paint, he floats it up, it's in and out, and it's deflected out of bounds on the rebound by Miami. 20 seconds on the shot clock, and a near side inbound on the baseline for Northern Illinois. A minute and 16 seconds in, we're scoreless. Zion Russell, redshirt sophomore from Upper Marlboro, Maryland, puts it near wing for Coit. Catch and shoot three is off the side of the backboard and out of bounds on the baseline. Coit was a little off balance there, and that shot did not find the target. It's out of bounds to Miami.
Not a good decision at all with 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Not really sure where that shot, the thought process was on that shot, but good, advantageous for Miami.
Bryce Boltman has it up top for Miami, finding Reese Potter. From the left angle, Potter hands off for Darwishi Hunter. Behind the back on the dribble, takes a long two straight away. Missed it right. Boltman offensive board on the ground. Bounces back out free throw line for Potter. Now it's Elmer on the left wing, driving just inside the arc. Flips back for Potter, who hands to Makai Cooper. Cooper to the MAC logo, handing off Reese. Potter wide open for the right side. Can't finish the lay. Taken quickly up the floor by Nutter, 1-on-2. Euros, lofts, missed it long. Rebound Reese Potter for Miami. 2-minute mark of the first half, and we are scoreless between RedHawks and Huskies. Right angle extended, Elmer with a rainbow into the paint, and Potter is fouled on the turnaround shot.
Potter's mad at himself down low. Even though he got fouled, he's still just upset. Past couple possessions haven't gone his way, but a big chance to make up for it with two pretty big free throws early in this game.
Two teams that have played some unclean basketball to begin, both 0 for 3 from the field. 2 minutes and 5 seconds in, and we are scoreless with Reese Potter at the free throw line. 64% shooter on the year, and gets the lucky roll on the first to send the Millett Hall crowd back down into their seats.
You hear the sigh of relief from the Millett Hall faithful.
Took a little over 2 minutes. Potter's second free throw pops out, and so it's 1-0 RedHawks with 17:51 to go first half. On the far side, Russell handing for Amos. Chest pass in for Conan Niederhauser, stripped away by Elmer, 2-on-1 with Cooper. Elmer finds Cooper on the left side, worms his way through, kicks back out Boltman, playing catch with Hunter. Boltman a three, you bet! Bryce Boltman, not a huge three-point shooter, under 30% on the year, but the RedHawks will take it 2.5 minutes in. It's 4-0 Miami. Nutter on the near flank, back up top for Conan Niederhauser, former member of the Swiss national team. Back to the near side, this is Coyne. His rise for three, finds nylon. 4-3 our score, Miami in front as we've crossed the 3-minute mark from Millett Hall. Cooper finds Boltman near side. Sets his feet, pushes back up for Potter, left alone straight away. His three goes.
What a change of events for Reese Potter. He couldn't have started off the game worse, and he's on fire right now.
Reese Potter coming off a 7-point performance against Ohio, a little over season average. He'll take a three if he can get it. 7-3 RedHawks. Three the other way now. And that one missed by Amos. Offensive board, Nutter, and he worms through the traffic to score. Zarik Nutter, top scorer in this Husky lineup, finding the scoreboard for the first time. It's 7-5 RedHawks with 16:16 to go in the first. Cooper pivoting on the MAC logo, kicks back out near wing for Bryce Boltman. Backing down on the defender, fades away from 15 feet, off the heel, off the left rim, and off the mark. Hauled down on the rebound by Nutter. Quickly runs the floor, Nutter past everybody, can't finish under the basket with an open look. Great creation, but a high percentage shot doesn't fall. Now Elmer left alone in the far corner for three. He's got it.
That was heavily contested by Nutter in the corner too. Elmer just buried it.
Elmer held on to that one for maybe a second longer than he would have liked, but it didn't matter. He still hit the three-pointer, and Miami's up 10-5 with 15:35 to go in the first. Amos, deep three from the near side. Missed it. Potter wipes down the board for Miami, and now Travis Seal signaling to his team to slow things down. 15:23 to go first half. It's 10-5 Miami over Northern Illinois. Moving laterally, Makai Cooper comes off a screen, and we got a foul. Looks like on Northern Illinois as Reese Potter was setting a screen. And no, instead it will be on Potter, a moving screen, what the NIU bench was signaling for, and that will send us to a media timeout. So with 15:18 to go in the opening half here from Millett Hall, our score is Miami 10 and Northern Illinois 5. We are back to Millett after this. Stay tuned. You are listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. Poley, Will Summers back with you. Andrew Relvas alongside as well as Miami leads Northern Illinois 10-5 with 15:18 to go in the opening half of play. And MAC game number 11 for the RedHawks. MAC game number 10 for Northern Illinois. Miami trying to get back over 500 And two different starts that we saw. First couple of minutes were very flat. We saw no points till the 2:05 mark. Since then, it's been raining threes. Out of the timeout, working his way through. Coit with the floater in the lane falls short, gets his own rebound, and it is stripped out of bounds off Miami. David Coit, very undersized in the paint at just 5'11", but he's got that fearsome type of demeanor. And he earns his team a second chance possession here. Second team All-MAC in the preseason, Coit, the junior from New Jersey. This is Nutter dribbling with the left hand up for Will Lovings-Watts. 18 points for him on Saturday against Eastern. Bubble of space on the right side, and Nutter bangs the three.
Nutter was waiting to get going all day. He had a couple fast break points missed early in the game, but a guy that Miami can't let get hot.
Bradley Dean into the game for Miami. He's got it at the left elbow, looking for an option outside. Finds it by way of Darwishi Hunter, the former Husky at Northern Illinois. Puts it in for Jaquel Morris. Hard drive to the basket, and he got tied up going up for a shot. Possession arrow is with Miami, but a good job down low by Will Lovings-Watts to get two hands on the basketball. Big 6'5" guard. 13 left on the shot clock for Miami. Darwishi Hunter comes out. Ryan Mabry is on. Mabry did not play over the weekend against Ohio, and the ball finds him on the inbound. Marambo bounces left elbow for Jaquel Morris with 8 to shoot. Evan Ipsaro just inside the arc straight away. Bounces near side, outside the paint for Marambo. Back out Bradley Dean, works it in for Marambo. Turnaround shot at the buzzer won't go. Jaquel Morris nearly collected the rebound, but pulling it away, it is secured by Coit. Xavier Amos across to the near side for Nutter. Drives baseline on Marambo, gets around him and scores. And that ties the game up at 10 with 13:55 to go in the first.
And Nutter's just so athletic getting to the rim, just moves with such ease.
That's now 7 points for Zarik Nutter. And we are all tied up here from Millett as this crowd has really grown in size. Floater into the paint. Jaquel Morris left wide open. Sent his defender running towards the baseline. That was Amos, who stumbled a bit. And Morris collects it off the glass for two to put Miami back in front with 13:26 to go in the first. Lovings-Watts pumps, slings for Coit, has it back on the left wing. Now back up top, this is Zarik Nutter. Lovings-Watts once again. Jabs, works his way just inside, hands back out for Coit. His three in the air. That's in and out, wide open for an offensive rebound. Amos untouched on the putback score.
Well, Marambo had a really good box out on one of the Huskies down low, but one slipped throughout the Miami defense, and easy putback points, easy second chance points.
We are tied up at 12 with 12:53 to go first half. Marambo leaves off for Mabry, top of the key. High ball back in for Marambo. Catch and goes up with it, but his attempt is short from 5 feet. And the rebound is secured by Amos. Ahead for Coit. Shifting around in the front court, finds Amos once again on the near side. A bullet back to Coit. It finds him up top. Now Lovings-Watts on the far side. Puts it right elbow for Nutter. Works his way to the paint. His floater off the heel, off the left side of the rim and out. And the rebound batted into the arms of Evan Ipsaro for Miami. He bounds up the floor and plays catch with Marambo. Ipsaro on the near side. Just 4 points for him last time against Ohio. He's been banged up over the last month or so. Marambo back out for Dean. All the way to the far corner. Ipsaro's three is good. Miami lost their lead in the MAC as the league's best three-point shooting team over the weekend, looking to get back into that front. And they're off to a good start now as the RedHawks have cashed in on their fourth triple. Inside, this is Nutter, faking, going up, getting the foul and the finish. The harm for Zarik Nutter. He'll go to the free throw line with a chance to tie the game on the other side of the timeout. Nutter almost into double digits already with 11:46 to go in the opening half. Miami leads Northern Illinois by a point. We're back to Millett Hall after this. You're listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. West Poley, Will Summers back with you. Miami leads Northern Illinois 15-14 with 11:46 to go in the half. And Zarik Nutter to the free throw line already with 9 points here early on. A chance to make it 10 with the and one to tie up this game. They're giving away Charlie Cole's cookies tonight in honor of the late RedHawk head coach. Would have been his birthday today. Legendary Miami basketball head coach Charlie Coles. As Nutter puts up the free throw and hits it. Every time Coach Coles has celebrated, his post-game press conference from a game the RedHawks played against Kentucky always seems to surface. And if you never watched it, it is worth your time. It's one of the greatest press conference rants you will ever see. Miami's got it back in the front court after the free throw make. We're in a tied game at 15 with 11:30 to go. Potter rises up from the edge of the paint and put it strong over to the far side. The rebound pulled by Lovings-Watts for Northern Illinois. Now it's David Coyne ahead. Behind the back on the dribble. Coyne is doubled out near half court. Looking for an option. Flings off for Ethan Butler. The sophomore from Toronto transferring in from Oregon. Gives it back to Coyne out near the logo. 11:05 to go first half. Game deadlocked at 15. Coyne shimmying. Step back three contested. Too far left, and Ian Elmer high in the air snares the rebound for Miami. Ipsaro ahead, stops his feet, shovels out for Elmer, and now has it back on the edge of the logo. He directs traffic inside. Potter connects on the short pass on the right elbow, puts it back out for Mabry left side of the front court. Off a screen, Mabry tried to float that one in for Potter. It got batted away. Elmer grabs the loose ball. He'll jut into the paint, and a long lay-in attempt. He is fouled. And nodding his head to still go to the free throw line. The foul will be called on Ethan Butler of Northern Illinois.
Well, don't want to call that a bailout foul, but it was dangerously close as Ian Elmer, kind of an ill-advised shot driving into the lane. Not really his type of shot, but take a foul, take 2 free throws, and hopefully get Miami back into the lead.
Elmer released that ball from about waist height and almost had his arm straight out to the side. As he hits the first free throw, like you mentioned, that was probably a very low percentage shot, even if it was uncontested. Makai Cooper coming back on for Miami to take Evan Ipsaro's spot. RedHawks have retaken the lead with 10:32 to go in the first at 16-15. Ian Elmer, 65% free throw shooters. Second shot is good, and Miami leads by 2 as we approach the halfway mark of half number 1. David Coyne coming off his coldest game of the season, just 13% from the field, has it on the near wing. Working around, he's doubled, finds Lovings-Watts, his three from the near side, pops in and out, long rebound outside the three-point line. Makai Cooper's got it for Miami. Now Boltman in the corner for 3. Yes, sir! Timeout, Rashawn Burno in Northern Illinois. Bryce Boltman left all alone in the near corner. And the RedHawks have opened the lead to 5 with 10:06 to go in the first half. It's 2015 RedHawks, and third-year head coach Rashawn Burno not happy with his team's transition defense.
Well, it's been the trend of the ball game so far. Miami in the half court struggling to score offensively, haven't really had much of a presence down low, but they get out in transition and they get open 3 balls and they're burying them. But on the other side, for Northern Illinois, Coyne's really impressed me. You mentioned coming off the coldest game of the season. He's still a little bit cold today, but he's just not afraid to shoot. Every time he gets the ball, you think it's going to go up.
Averaged 15.5 points per game last season. That placed him 11th in the conference. He was also a top 23-point shooter. He's got a team-high 34-point game this season. That came in a win against DePaul, one of the marquee wins for Northern Illinois. terms of rankings, maybe not a marquee win, but just in terms of brand and with their head coach Rashawn Burno being a DePaul alum, I'm sure that win meant a lot to this program, taking down that team out of the Big East. Northern Illinois back with it on the offensive end, and it's Coit from the far side. Secures a wild pass, gets down low, and he's swatted by Ryan Mabry.
Just the one thing Coit really can't do. He's 5'11", listed on the roster, looking more like 5'10", especially among the big bodies inside. Not the smartest decision for him to drive really into the paint at all, but like we mentioned, so aggressive, he's going to look to score every single possession.
Ryan Mabry's not a huge shot blocker, but didn't even have to jump to knock that ball away. Still Northern Illinois basketball after going out of bounds. 10 left on the shot clock following the inbound. Coit from the far side, jabs off a screen, mismatched with Elmer. Bounces over to the far side to Amos. His defender took a spill, but his pass across the court is intercepted by Boltman. Long feed ahead for Cooper. He shimmies into the lane and finishes from the bottom of the MAC logo. Crafty from the freshman, Makai Cooper. And the RedHawks are in front by 7, 22-15 with 9:20 to go in the first. Far wing Coit gets some separation, whips back out for Amos. Straight down the center of the paint. His layup is short of the left side rim. And the RedHawks get the rebound. Up the floor with numbers. Cooper rounds the defense, works it back outside. Potter open for three, and he's got it.
Reese Potter, man, will have a day. Really starting the other end with Darwishi Hunter not playing the same side, help side defense. Let the guy drive in the lane, and another transition attempt for Miami leads to another open three.
Potter with 2 trays. He's got 7 points on the game, and Miami leads by 10 with 8:43 to go in the first. It's 25-15 RedHawks. Coit from the far side takes a heat check three, missed it long. Offensive board by Amos. Nutter into the lane. His floater, heavily contested, falls short. Miami gets the rebound, but Nutter swipes it away. Check that, that's Lovings-Watts. His Euro is blocked by Potter. Another rebound. Lovings-Watts has it again. He releases off, looking for Nutter. And Lovings-Watts put it into the foot of Darwishi Hunter. It's a kickball on the RedHawks, and Northern Illinois will keep it.
Well, Luke, you know I don't hold my tongue. That was just, I'm not really sure what Northern Illinois is doing offensively right now. They're running their offense through 2 guys, and that's just not going to be sustainable the entire time. Miami, a team that can score at all 5 positions, really no weakness on the offense side of the ball. Northern Illinois has got to get going if they want to have a chance in this game.
8:20 to go first half. Miami leads Northern Illinois 25-15. Coit catch and shoot three from the near corner. All money. Coit finally connects on one. It had been a little while, as that's his second three on his 6th attempt. And the RedHawks lead is trimmed to 7. Marambo's pass inside looking for Boltman is batted away. Loose on the floor. Scooped up by Xavier Amos. The Chicago native, 8 straight double-figure games for him. 19 points and 3 blocks over the weekend in the win against Eastern Michigan. Pass through is deflected by Bradley Dean. He lost his footing, but Boltman's there to collect it. He's fouled and scores from the right side.
That play all set up by Bradley Dean, jumping the pass, getting into the pass lanes, and finds the veteran in Boltman underneath and gets the foul and the points.
So Miami starting to take advantage of that mesh-y Northern Illinois defense a little bit as we make our way through this first half. 7:46 to go in it, and it's 27-18 RedHawks. We'll step aside briefly here from Millett Hall. You're listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. 7:46 to go first half. Luke West, Poley, and Will Summers with you as Miami leads Northern Illinois 27-18. Coming up at the halftime break, Andrew Relvas has your halftime report, stats and analysis from our first half of play. Take a look at some very interesting scores from around the MAC and around the country. And he will preview our second half coming up on the Red Hawk Radio halftime report. Bryce Boltman at the free throw line on the tail end of an and-one play to try and complete the three-pointer the old-fashioned way. Put the RedHawks back up 3. And he missed it short. Put the RedHawks back up 10, I should say. It would have been a three-point play had he hit it. It's 27-18 Miami right now with 7:37 to go in the first. Northern Illinois back to the offensive end. Huskies shooting under 30% from the field right now. Shooting better from outside the arc than they are inside. Nutter from up top. Down the lane, shoulders into Cooper to get space, but Cooper pulls it away. 2-on-1 the other direction. Hunter goes straight up. Nice contest at the rim by Russell, and the shot falls short. Now a hop step down the left side by Coit. That won't open anything for him. Flip to the far wing. A bounce through for Ibargin, and a foul called inside. An offensive foul on Northern Illinois. Check that, it's on Miami's Bryce Boltman. And so he will get his first third-team foul on the RedHawks as Northern Illinois will have it under the basket with 20 to shoot.
Just a little late by Boltman getting to the spot. Really close. Could have been an offensive foul for sure.
Frenzied sequence before that. Northern Illinois has been throwing the ball all over the front court. That ball pops straight up in the air after the rebound, and it falls into the arms of Bradley Dean. Another weird play offensively for Northern Illinois, and they come up fruitless on the possession. Hunter from the near side. Spins edge of the paint. Try to flip it back out for Marambo and missed him. It's touched up by Bradley Dean past half court. And that will be a backcourt violation on the RedHawks. Back to the Huskies it goes with 6:48 to go in the first, and they will inbound right in front of the RedHawk bench.
That's what we mentioned. Miami's half-court offense just has not looked in sync at all. That's really the opportunities that they've been seizing have been in transition when they've run the tempo-style offense.
Yeah, really neither team has looked great through these first 13 minutes and change in their sets. But like you said, Miami's advantage has come in transition. Contested right elbow jumper from Nutter clatters off the rim. RedHawks get the rebound, and it's Bradley Dean on the far side. Up from Marambo, and now Evan Ipsaro on the near wing. Dean, the transfer from UVA Wise at the D2 level, left it on the deck, scooped up, put out for Marambo, his three, rolls off. And a rebound grab by Nutter for Northern Illinois. Coit signals for help. Mismatch on Marambo. Coit elects not to use it. Instead, he'll go overhead for Nutter, who flings to the crosswing side for Lovings-Watts in the far corner. Coit, shimmy, step back, tons of space, and hits the three.
Well, if you're waiting for Coit to get going, this is a perfect time for Northern Illinois. And Miami, a guy mentioned beforehand, cannot let him get hot or Northern Illinois will be right back in this ballgame.
Shot 9 threes, only had one of them on Saturday. And that is his third tray of the game. Bryce Boltman downhill on the right side. We get a foul call on the Huskies with 5:41 to go in the first. It's 27-21 in favor of the RedHawks. Fouls on Zion Russell. Marambo and Bradley Dean are coming out for Miami. Ryan Mabry, Jaquel Morris back on with the RedHawks up 6. Miami took the first lead and has not relinquished it. RedHawks have kept Northern Illinois at arm's length in a lead that got as big as 10. Morris was bracketed in the paint. Kicked it back outside for Ipsar, and the RedHawks reset with 10 to shoot. Mabry open from the left side for 3. Off the front iron. Collision between two Huskies on the rebound as Ibargin mows over Coit, but Ibargin ends up with it, and he hands off for Coit, who carries it up the floor. Amos works down center of the paint, kicks out Nutter, far wing 3, falls short. Weak side rebound after the bounce by Dorishi Hunter for Miami. Mabry quickly ahead. Low ball to the far side for Boltman. He corrals it and gives back for Mabry out near the logo. Now Jaquel Morris from the right elbow. Ripping the ball all around. He hands for Evan Ipsaro. Space was occupied, and he was fouled on the step in by Ibargin. Bargwin, the senior from Cali, Columbia, transferred in from Seward County Community College, former member of the Columbia national team. A couple of national team guys from some foreign countries on this roster for Northern Illinois. Inbound in for Ipsaro for Miami. He finds Morris, shouldering in. Morris trapped under the basket, leaning back, and the shot won't fall. And the rebound picked up by Northern Illinois. Jaquel Morris is trying to be physical down low, but the Huskies continue to match him under the basket. 4:32 to go first half, and an offensive foul is called on Northern Illinois' Harvey Bargwin.
Northern Illinois, really, we mentioned the offensive side of the ball, haven't really got anything going. If it hasn't been Coit, really, or Nutter, Northern Illinois struggling their half-court offense as well. Two really struggling offensive teams. Can't find the rhythm quite yet.
So the RedHawks up 6, 27-21 with 4:24 to go. Ian Elmer back on the floor. Pass to him. He bobbles it, but secures it in space and gives back out for Ipsaro. Boltman on the reset from up top. In for Jaquel Morris. Spinning. Mac Logo. Leaves off for Elmer. Back to Morris. He bobbles through contact. He scores from the right side of the paint.
Morris looking for a foul on that. You mentioned it was through contact. He thought he was fouled. I personally thought he was fouled as well, but he'll take the 2 points.
Second bucket. Jaquel Morris is perfect from the field. A 2 for 2 for 4 points, and the RedHawks are back up 8. Coit. Fadeaway J. Got it from the left elbow.
If you don't have a hand right in Coit's face when he starts to get going, he's tough to stop.
He has got a dead-eye type of release from both mid-range and deep. Back to a 6-point game with 3:35 to go in the first. Boltman wants a screen. Ipsaro sets. Boltman down the right side. Fade away from 10 feet. Off the back iron. Offensive rebound Morris. Back out Ipsaro. His three rattles off. And the rebound is picked up by Amos, the Chicago native for Northern Illinois. Colt finds Amos, contested three. Oh, he got it. Ian Elmer was right in his face with the fly-through, but Northern Illinois with a much-needed bucket to cut it to 3 with 3:04 to go in the first. 29-26 is the RedHawk advantage. Morris back out Boltman, left alone for 3 on the right side. Just a hair strong. Long rebound by Lovings-Watts, pushing the ball ahead. It's Nutter. All the way to the rack. His shot wouldn't go, but Loving-Watts with the putback slam.
Well, now if you're Travis Steele, you have to contemplate calling a timeout. You really didn't want to because the media timeout's coming up next dead ball, but the momentum is completely in NIU's favor right now.
He's going to keep it in the pocket for now. 2:33 to go first half, and as Will mentioned, the media timeout's upcoming. Mabry, heat check 3 straight away. Front iron, Ian Elmer physical, getting on the floor, but he can't secure the rebound. Had it in his hands, but bobbled it, and it's scooped off the deck by Coit for Northern Illinois. Huskies can take their first lead on this possession. They trail by 1 with 2:11 to go in the first. 29-28, the RedHawks in the driver's seat. Nutter works in, pops up, bobbled halfway through, and the shot never really had a chance. Got it up after catching that one and re-airing it, but he couldn't get it to go. Bryce Boltman takes it across half court, and there's the timeout for the RedHawks and Travis Steele, as he will call it with 1:56 to go in the first. Miami up a point.
It's the right decision. Both teams looked absolutely gassed, needed the media timeout, and almost 2 minutes. 2 minutes did go by before the media timeout was even a thought. So good timeout from Travis Steele.
Yeah, both teams look a little bit exhausted as we near closer to the end of the half. And it compounds with the fact that the type of basketball we've seen from both teams over the last 8 minutes or so has been a little bit wild. It's almost seemed like rec ball at some times with, maybe a scheme or a lack thereof from either side. It's just been very frenzied from both teams, and that's kind of tested the conditioning of both sides as we go down the stretch of this first half.
Well, a lot of bad passes, a lot of tip balls, a lot of drop balls. I mean, it's just been, like you mentioned, just kind of lethargic basketball on both sides, and both teams going to have to figure it out at halftime, and the team that does will go on a big run in the second half.
Miami's shooting the ball significantly better than Northern Illinois is, but the Huskies are killing the RedHawks on the glass right now. These two teams sit 10th and 11th in rebounding in the MAC. Miami is actually a slightly better rebounding team traditionally than Northern Illinois has been this season. But the boards are what's keeping Northern Illinois in the game right now. 24-15 is the advantage, and 9 of those have come on the offensive glass for the Huskies. And this was an area, Will, that early on in MAC play, especially when you look at times where they were able to string together a couple of wins, we never saw any true consistency or streaks so far from Miami. But looking at what they were able to do in winning early on in MAC play, it was because they shored up the rebounding, and you'd hate for them to get away from that a little bit as we start to head down the stretch in MAC play.
In getting Marambo back, he missed a majority of the season early on. You thought it was only going to get better. You thought it would only complement it. And for some reason, it hasn't translated over for whatever reason. As I mentioned, it's not obviously not on Marambo's fault that the rebounding has not been up to par. But you mentioned Miami's got to figure it out. That was one of the things they did so well in non-conference play. And if they're able to figure that out, they can make a real run in the MAC tournament.
So we are all set to go once again here from Millett Hall. Minute 56 remaining in our half. 29-28 is the Red Hawk lead, with Miami having possession in the front court. Boltman struggled to get that one in before the 5-second. Got it in the nick of time for Potter. Now this is Hunter. Back for Potter, left elbow. Circling his feet around. He gives for Hunter. He'll step back and try the three. And can't hit from the left side. Rebound tapped up in the air. And a foul on the Red Hawks. Bryce Boltman came down with the basketball, but did so illegally. He'll get called for the foul, his second. And with a minute 42 to go in the half, Northern Illinois will take possession.
No contest from Boltman. He knew he was guilty and accepted his penalty.
Miami's 1 for their last 9 from the field. They haven't scored in over 2 minutes. 7-0 run over that span for Northern Illinois to get back into this game. Again, the Huskies can take their first lead of the game. They've had a couple of chances. Haven't scored on the last couple of possessions. Nutter from the near side. Bouncing in for Amos. Long cross-court feed, finds Lovings-Watts. Threw into the paint. Nutter traveled on his way back through. Nice call from the official on the far side. Little flair to that one.
Well, you love a ref that's into the game for
sure. Did a little dance move. I love Jeffrey Anderson, so I can respect referees that have some style. Cooper trying to put that ball into the paint, and it was knocked away. Luckily, he regathers for Miami and gives back for Boltman after racing it down in the backcourt. RedHawks up 1 with a minute 3 left to go in the first. 10 left on the shot clock. It's Potter from the key, and he left that one for Lovings-Watts. He'll run the floor and rise for the slam.
Lovings-Watts with the deflection off the official, bounce back into play, and just nobody in front of him was able to get it into the paint for an easy slam.
Northern Illinois got their first lead of the game at 30-29. And a foul called on Northern Illinois, and that's beneficial for Miami, not only in that Makai Cooper was a little out of control there on the dribble, but additionally this will allow the RedHawks, with the clock management, to get 2 possessions here, as the foul occurred with 43 seconds left. So Makai Cooper will shoot the 1-and-1. Foul is on David Coit, who picks up his first. Check that, his second. 43.7 seconds left, 1-and-1 for Makai Cooper. He hits the first free throw. Cooper, the freshman, he's a shooter, and he was a good free throw shooter in high school. He kind of struggled in translating that over to the college level at the beginning of the year, but his free throw shooting has only gotten better as the season has gone along. He was 4 for 4 from the stripe on Saturday, and he's 2 for 2 here to give Miami the lead back at 31-30. Northern Illinois taking it from right to left across the timeline. Shot and game clock separated by about 12.5 seconds. Coit double teamed at the logo, frantically darting his eyes around the court. He will give to Amos, who gives it right back. Coit lost control, regains, finds Nutter, and he traveled on his way in. Eyes got big there, seeing all the room in the world to get to the basket, but Nutter is called for his second travel in this recent sequence. And the timer will darken for Miami. 24 seconds left, and the RedHawks can hold for the final shot of the first half, up by 1.
Another confusing offensive possession for NIU, as they were able to have a chance at a 2-for-1 if they hurried up, just decided against it.
So it's Makai Cooper dribbling waist high with the right hand. Off for Elmer, right angle extended. Elmer will circle up to the top of the key. Back for Makai Cooper with 6. Cooper driving in with 4. He lofts one up and is blocked almost behind the backboard there, out of bounds with 2.1 seconds left to go. Travis Steele's going to rush up a sub. It's Ryan Mabry. He'll come in for Ian Elmer, and so this gives you 2 catch-and-shoot options here between Mabry and Darwishi Hunter. RedHawks will inbound with just over 2 ticks remaining on the clock. It'll be Makai Cooper from the far side baseline to provide the insertion. RedHawks leading by 1, late goings first half. Looked like Rashawn Burno requesting the officials looked at the clock, just kind of gave him a smug look. Here we go, crisscrossing action. Miami finds Hunter open in the far corner. In and out at the buzzer with the 3. He's no stranger to those, especially of late, but Darwishi Hunter's got no magic this time to close out the first half. And Miami will have to settle for a 1-point lead at the halftime break. Will, you're in front at home here if you're Miami at halftime, but I think if you look in terms of who has the momentum at the break, it's got to be Northern Illinois. 9-2 run over the final 4 minutes for the Huskies to get within a point, and especially with the way the RedHawks were shooting the 3-ball early on. Very good job by this Huskies team on the road to stay in this game, give themselves a real shot here in the second half.
Well, like you mentioned, it's rare that a away team will have the momentum at a home team's place when the home team is up by 1, and really you have to diagnose the problem if you're Miami. It's not free throws. They're out shooting NIU from the free throw line. It's not turnovers. NIU has 3 more turnovers as well. It's not shooting percentage, not 3-point percentage. Miami dominating all those in those aspects as well. It's the stat that you mentioned a little bit early in the half. It's the offensive rebounding. NIU, 9 total offensive rebounds to Miami's 3 has played a big part in this ball game.
Almost the reverse of what the RedHawks saw against Ohio when they did pretty much everything better than the Bobcats except shoot the ball. Here tonight they've been shooting the ball better than Northern Illinois, but some of that stuff away from the actual shooting has given Northern Illinois the momentum as they head into the halftime break. At halftime here from Millett Hall, our score is Miami 31 and Northern Illinois 30. Will and I back for the second half after this. For now, we send it over to Andrew Relvas in a Red Hawk Radio halftime report.
Thank you, Luke. Miami RedHawks are leading the NIU Huskies 31-30 in a back-and-forth Mid-American Conference affair here from a beautiful Tuesday night in Oxford, Ohio. I'll give you the stat breakdowns, a scoreboard update, and some keys to the games for the RedHawks versus the Huskies. Leading scorers so far total, it's David Coit for the NIU Huskies with 11 points, 4 for 10 from the floor, and 3 for 7 from deep. He's been a real thorn in the RedHawks side. Another man that's also been very dangerous for NIU, it's been Zarik Nutter. 10 points, 4 for 13 from the floor, 1 for 2 from 3, along with 4 rebounds. And he has been definitely the 1-2 punch that David Coit has also been involved with. So it's been kind of the David Coit and the Zarik Nutter show. The only other scores for the NIU Huskies, it's Xavier Amos and Lovings Watt. That's literally all the scores for NIU. Just only 4 total scorers out of a lot more, about 9. So the fact that it's only been 4 NIU Huskies scoring, and for Miami, it's kind of the exact opposite. It's been a well-balanced offensive attack, especially led by Bryce Boltman, who has absolutely led the day for the RedHawks. He's been a great defender. He's been making all the right passes. 3 assists that leads the day for the RedHawks and the NIU Huskies. Another guy that's been right there, it's been Reese Potter, the freshman. 7 points for him, 2 3-pointers made, 3 rebounds, and he has definitely defended well against Amos and Conan Niederhauser. So it's been kind of the 1-2 punch for both teams, but outscoring them, it's been Coit and Nutter with a score of 31-30. So Miami still has the advantage thanks to some nice 3-point shooting. They came into this game with a top 3-point shooting percentage in the conference, 6 for 13 on tonight. NIU also pretty solid so far coming into tonight. 5 for 13 overall. Tonight, the RedHawks are the second-ranked three-point shooting team, and so far they haven't disappointed. We'll see if the RedHawks decide to go back to taking some more shots from outside the arc. In terms of overall shooting, the RedHawks 36% from the floor, 46% from the three-point line, and 71% from the free throw line. The NIU Huskies 35% from the floor, 39% from three-point land, and only made one free throw. That's unusual for a MAC game like this. It's so back and forth. You see a ton of contact between two teams, but only one free throw on the NIU Huskies. We'll see if the Huskies decide to go back inside and get some more free throws, some more attempts inside the arc. Bring it over now to a scoreboard update from across the Mid-American Conference. A full slate of MAC games. A beautiful Tuesday night. The first score, it's Ohio. They're on top of the Ball State Cardinals, 36-27. The Bobcats and the Cardinals battling it out there at Ball State. Hunter leading the day for the Ohio Bobcats with 9 points. Pearson Jr. leading the day for the Ball State Cardinals with 10. Play will begin momentarily between the Bobcats and the Ball State Cardinals. Both sides desperately trying to get some wins here in Mid-American Conference play. The next one, here's a shocker. Central Michigan trailing by 15 on the road at Akron, 20-35. John Gross's squad is dismantling the Central Michigan Chippewas. About 14 seconds left to go here in the first half. Sorry about that. It's been the Johnson show for Akron. 10 points leading the day. Davis for the Central Michigan Chippewas with 4 points. Overall, a phenomenal offensive effort from the Akron Zips. So far leading the Central Michigan Chippewas. At the half, Western Michigan trailing by 2 on the road at Kent State, 27-25. At Kent, Golden Flashes led by Solinger, who has 11 points. Brown for Western Michigan, one of the skilled centers in the Mid-American Conference with 9. And a back-and-forth affair between the Broncos and the Golden Flashes. At the half, Buffalo trailing by 8 versus Bowling Green. The Bowling Green Falcons only up by 8 against the worst MAC team. The Buffalo Bulls only one conference win. They're 2-19 overall, so this is a game that Bowling Green absolutely cannot drop, and if they do, it would be not only embarrassing but detrimental to their conference hopes. But so far they're taking care of business here at home, and we'll see if they continue to do so as we continue. Final score of the night at the half, Toledo Rockets leading the Eastern Michigan Eagles by 7, 44-37 on the road. Cochran for Toledo leading the scoring with 11 points. He's been real solid for the Rockets all year long. Toledo 8-2 in the MAC. They're trying to keep pace in a very competitive Mid-American Conference. Those are all the teams. All the scores from the Mid-American Conference, all of them pretty much tight besides the Central Michigan game. Akron, they're a real deal in the conference. We knew this all year long. Only loss in conference play was to your Miami RedHawks. But Akron holding on to things here at home versus the Central Michigan Chippewas, who are currently 3rd in the MAC, trailing by 15 at the half. Give you a top 25 scoreboard update. I'll rattle through these real quick for you. South Carolina leading Ole Miss 59-52 at home. The Gamecocks up by 7 with about 9 minutes and 21 seconds left in the second half. Here's an upset alert for you. The Clemson Tigers on the road are leading the North Carolina Tar Heels 43-34. About to be halftime in that one. Would be a huge upset for the Tigers to take down the Tar Heels, who are the number 3 team in the country. We'll see if the Tar Heels can turn it around. at the second half. Final game that's going on right now, Houston on top of Oklahoma State, 38-21. The Cougars are definitely taking care of business against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. About 35 seconds left to go in the first half. We'll see if Houston can continue their hot pace as they take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys from the Big 12. Take a little bit of a break, and then I'll bring you into the keys to the game. How can the RedHawks handle the NIU Huskies? Find out in just a moment. You're listening to the Miami RedHawks pregame show, or excuse me, halftime show. I'm Andrew Relvas. We'll see you in just 1 minute for more Miami men's basketball. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Millett Hall here from Oxford, Ohio. My name is Andrew Elvis here from Red Hawk Radio halftime show. I'll give you the keys to the game. How can the RedHawks take down the NIU Huskies to improve their conference record to 6-5 overall and keep pace in the always competitive, always entertaining Mid-American Conference? So first off, the RedHawks, they're getting out-rebounded by 9, 25-16. It's been 5 rebounds from Lovings-Watt, 5 rebounds from Amos. We know those two are going to be deadly coming into tonight, and they have definitely played their part. The RedHawks, they got to do a better job of closing out on the NIU Huskies. I know the Huskies have some more length. They have one of the tallest lineups definitely in the conference, and RedHawks, they just have to do a better job of limiting those second chance points. You can't completely take them out, but just got to close out a little bit better and try and force the NIU Huskies to drain the majority of their shot clock. Overall, it was kind of some quick possessions for NIU that led to a lot of opportunities inside, especially on the fast break. RedHawks, they're going to have to force the NIU Huskies to take their own shots. They're going to have to defend well pretty much everywhere. Also try and, don't want to say double team Coit, but definitely double team Nutter if you can, double Coit, because those two are the only scorers that have really hurt the RedHawks in a big way. 11 points for Coit, 10 for Nutter. You're going to have to find some way to limit those two. The deadly duo for the NIU Huskies. We'll see if Boltman and Elmer or Potter can try and find a way and crack into this defense for the NIU Huskies, who are one of the top teams offensively in the MAC coming into tonight. But on defense, NIU not so good. So we'll see if the RedHawks can expose this kind of faulty NIU defense as we get into the second half. Overall, a fun first half, back and forth. Both punches were thrown on each side between the Huskies and the RedHawks. We'll see if the RedHawks can coming into this one and swoop a W out from the grasp of the NIU Huskies. We'll see if they continue their stand on top and continue to keep pace in the Mid-American Conference. I'll hand it over to Luke and Will for the second half. Be back for the post-game show to see if the RedHawks can hold on to a win versus the NIU Huskies. Luke, it's all yours.
Andrew, thank you. Coming out of halftime here from Millett Hall, and it is 31-30. Miami over Northern Illinois. Luke West, Poley, Will Summers back with you here courtside. Will, we talked about it going into the halftime break. Miami probably left a little bit on the table there at the end of that first half, and rarely do you go into the locker room trailing on the road and still feel pretty good about where you're at for this Northern Illinois team. Just got to keep doing what you're doing right now. How you close that last half is kind of the recipe for success against these RedHawks.
Anytime you can stay in the ball game when you're shooting 35% from the field on the road is pretty impressive. And like you said, Northern Illinois, you have to expect the shots are probably going to start falling, probably get up towards that 40% mark. And if that happens, look out, RedHawks, because NIU could steal one on the road really quickly.
It's a Northern Illinois team that the 1-8 record, as you mentioned, just doesn't really tell the whole story. As they sit on KenPom, 290th out of 362. They're above Buffalo, Eastern Michigan, and Western Michigan, so this is not the worst team in the MAC, even though the record might indicate that to you. Northern Illinois has played a lot of close games. They've had a lot of close losses. They've been injured. Those injuries have kind of lingered into this game, but guys who are healthy have been performing, especially on the glass for Northern Illinois, where they still hold a 9-rebound advantage, 25-16 the count there at the halftime break. For Miami, looking to continue to shoot the ball well, especially from three, 46% in that first half, 6 for 13. A lot of those came early on. RedHawks closed out very, very cold, though. 1 for their last 8 from 3 and 1 for their last 12 from the field. It'll be Husky basketball coming out of the break as Northern Illinois is in the dark road uniforms moving left to right. Miami in the home whites, they move right to left here in half number 2. Settle back and enjoy. This is going to be a very entertaining finish over the final 20 between the RedHawks and the Huskies. Northern Illinois in the offensive end to begin half number 2. Xavier Amos with 5 first-half points. Had a give-and-go play inside go awry as it went through his hands in the paint, but it's deflected out of bounds off Miami. And it will stay with Northern Illinois, with 11 seconds elapsed off the shot clock. Inbound finds Conan Niederhauser. He'll hand off for Nutter. Nearly lost his footing, but finds it back out near half court. He'll hand for Coit. Coit with 2 feet on the logo. Wants the screen with 6 to shoot. Still doubled. Flips far side for Amos. Racing in. He'll kick to the corner. 1 second on the shot clock, and nothing will come for Northern Illinois. Zion Russell releases it late. And some hot potato with under 10 for the Huskies costs them. They turn it over on the opening possession.
What a start for Miami defensively in this second half of play. Had a good defensive half in the first half, but nothing better than start the half with a shot clock violation.
So the RedHawks with a chance to build upon this 1-point lead. Northern Illinois has only had 1 lead in this game. It was 30-29 with under a minute to play in the first half before the RedHawks stole it back. Makai Cooper, who's been less than sure-handed on the dribble, bobbled it again, but does regather. He's had a bit of a rough day handling the basketball. Ian Elmer's pass inside is intercepted by Conan Niederhauser. And it's 2 turnovers to begin the half, 1 aside. Russell directing traffic from up top. The redshirt sophomore, injured last season with a medical redshirt. He's played in 21 games this season, every single one for NIU. Baseline drive, and Nutter loses it out of bounds on his own power. It's another giveaway for the Huskies. That's now their 9th on the game. Check that, that's their 10th, and now with 1:13 to go in the half, the RedHawks again have it back.
Well, the lackadaisical basketball continues for both squads, and for NIU, really going to see in this second half who will step up. 2 players with 21 points out of the 30 points NIU scored so far. They're going to need more guys to get active on the offensive side of the ball.
Potter spins left side, hands out Elmer. Open 3 from the left wing. Missed short. Hunter rises up to get a hand on the rebound, but he slaps it to the near corner. And with the ball surrounded by black jerseys, it's Arik Nutter to pick it up. The junior from Newark, New Jersey, flips to the far side. Coit's open from there. His 3 off the heel, and the rebound is pried away by Cooper for Miami. Out for Boltman on the far side. Gets to the baseline. He's walled off there. Now he'll circle the defense. Up top finds Potter. His 3 is perfect. Reese Potter, his third triple for the freshman big, and the RedHawks are up 4.
Don't see a lot of 7'1" people stroking the 3 ball as well as Reese Potter does. He's impressive from out there.
Potter now up to 10 points on the game. First RedHawk in double digits. 34-30 the RedHawk lead. Just over 2 minutes gone by. Coit jabbing. Now he'll race to the basket. Gets to the hoop and nearly had the and one. It clattered out on him. That would have been a highlight reel finish going to the ground for the 5'11 guard, David Coit. Instead, he'll take the foul and go to the free throw line to shoot a pair. So David Coit will shoot the 2 shots from the free throw line. Just the second and third attempts for Northern Illinois from the stripe. Coit hits the first one. Only other, I should say, came on a free throw attempt from Zarik Nutter on the tail end of a and one play. Coit's second free throw is pure. And the lead is back down to 2, 34-32 with 17:36 to go, second half. Darishi Hunter making his way forward for Miami. Hunter held entirely off the scoreboard against his former team in the first half, and bowling to the basket, he commits an offensive foul.
And really just an easy call for the officials as Darishi Hunter kind of out of control, was barreling down the court right into I can't say that last name, Luke.
Durosinme, junior from Lagos, Nigeria.
I have trouble with names sometimes.
6'9" junior forward out on the floor for Northern Illinois. Played 5 first half minutes. Nutter straight across the paint and scores with the right hand.
Nutter's been so impressive, as we mentioned, slashing, just getting to the basket and finding those open layups. He's been doing it all for NIU today.
We're tied at 34 at the 3-minute mark of half 2. Bryce Boltman looking for the Miami answer. Hunter back to Boltman up top. Off the screen. Boltman is doubled. It alleviates. He finds Cooper on the near side. Drive, kick out. Potter thinks about the jumper, pulls it back down. Cooper works his way in. Kicks for Elmer in the far corner. He's blanketed. 4 left to shoot. Elmer takes a 3. Way off target. Off the top of the window. And the rebound pulled down by Coit. Amos drives, threads, and gets fouled. Was completely turned around back to the basket and flipped the ball over his head. The Miami bench isn't too pleased. Bit of a bailout under the RedHawk basket. And Northern Illinois with a chance to take their first lead larger than 1 at the free throw line with the game tied at 34. Xavier Amos, 68.8% on the season at the line. And he misses the first free throw.
Xavier Amos, one of the leading scorers for this NIU team, has been relatively quiet today, 5 points on the day. And he's another guy that if he starts to step up towards the home stretch, it would give NIU another leg up.
He only played 8 games last season and has played 20 or more minutes in all but 1 game this year. 8 straight double-figure games, including 4 20-pointers over that span for Amos. Connects on the second free throw. He's now got 6, and Northern Illinois got the lead, 35-34. 16:27 to go in the second half. Their second lead of the game, the last being a short-lived one at the end of the first. Ipsara's post-entry pass was kicked as Russell got the right foot in on it. It'll stay with Miami with 16:20 to go in the second.
You can see NIU starting to feel themselves, too, out on this court. They know they got the momentum, and they're trying to keep it. RedHawks also have racked up 3 early fouls, and Northern Illinois is still yet to foul nearly 4 minutes into half 2. Ipsara, burst of speed, pulls up from 10 feet, and he is perfect. Book that, Evan Ipsara. He makes his first shot from inside the arc up to 5 points, and Miami's back in front, 36-35. Amos accelerates, kick out to the corner. Nutter, high rise, and the roll. Floater from the MAC logo, and Zarik Nutter with the and one. Takes us to the under 16 timeout. Huskies not only hanging around, grabbing a couple leads here early on,
chance to extend theirs at the free throw line when we come back. It's 37-36 NIU with 15:53 to go in regulation. You're listening to Miami Basketball on RedHawk Radio. With 15:53 to go in the second half, Northern Illinois leads Miami 37-36. Luke West, Poley, Will Summers back with you. And Zarik Nutter at the free throw line trying to complete the three-point play. 12 points for the junior from Newark, New Jersey. He's had 9 or more points in every game this season, continues that streak to make it 22 straight, and buries the free throw to put Northern Illinois up by 2 for the first time in this game. 38-36 Huskies with 15:46 to go. Some pressure was provided in the backcourt by Northern Illinois. Miami breaks it. Dean up ahead, finds Morris, and a patient finish from Jaquel off the window.
Been able to see Jaquel steadily improve his inside game throughout this season. He's going to be a big impact player for Miami the next couple of years.
6 points for Morris. Foul away from the ball here as Xavier Amos got tripped up for Northern Illinois. It's on Anderson Maramba. The RedHawks got to be careful here. That's a 15 foul. We're not even 5 minutes into the half. 15:23 to go in regulation with the game tied at 38.
Miami had 4 total fouls in the first half. I mean, already outpacing themselves and getting NIU dangerously close to the bonus.
Quick flash to the basket after the inbound by Nutter, and the pass missed him, so it's a turnover for the Huskies. Yeah, it was Northern Illinois that had the worst of the fouling. It wasn't terrible, but they had Miami in the bonus for about the last 5 minutes. This half, it's been entirely different. Huskies still haven't fouled. Ball is stripped away from Morris. It's loose on the floor. It rolls all the way across it, and now it's picked up by Amos. Shimmy shake to the basket, rejected by Jaquel.
Really nice defensive play by Jaquel Morris not to foul on a driving NIU player. I mean, Morris really just good job defending the paint, especially in a day and age where if you go that hard to the basket, you're likely to get a foul called.
Instead, it's out of bounds still with Northern Illinois, and the inbound is around the horn of the far wing for Zarik Nutter. 15 points for him in the game, and Evan Ipsaro just swipes it from him. Ipsaro motoring ahead out for Dean. Now Marambo straight away, bouncing back in for Morris. Lost it between the legs and regathers. Backing in, Morris works through, gets fouled, and scores. That's nice. Jaquel Morris with a beautiful move to get free.
And the Shaq GIF on the, or GIF, whatever you say, on the scoreboard is exactly how I felt in that moment. It was just too smooth from Jaquel Morris.
You kind of had that moment you get sometimes as a big where you got your feet set and you have no idea really what to do. You're just looking around. He can't hit on the free throw, but made something out of nothing for an and one opportunity. Won't be a three-point play, but still a momentum changer nonetheless for the RedHawks, who are back up 2 with 14:24 to go. Floater from Nutter, right through the nylon. From the left side, Zarik Nutter is money up to 17 points. Game's tied at 40 with 14:12 to go in the second. Evan Ipsara out to the near side. 5 points for Ipsara off a couple of buckets. It's been a team effort for Miami so far. Dean crossing to the basket, down the lane with the left, he finishes.
Riley Dean has such an impact on this squad when he's healthy. That's why Miami needed him back, and they're sure glad to have him.
So the RedHawks continuing to trade buckets with the Huskies here. Miami's got the better of Northern Illinois by 2 for the moment. Coit. Jump pass to the far side. A line drive 3 by Nutter is off the back rim, and racing in for the rebound. It's pulled away by Bradley Dean for the RedHawks. Cooper cutting across, leaves off Morris, fakes, goes up and gets swatted. Duro Sinmay got the block. Nutter the other way. Rejection by Marambo. Numbers for Miami. 4-on-2. Cooper out for Ipsaro. Transition 3. Off target. Collision under the basket. And look out. Some words being exchanged, and Jaquel Morris called for a technical foul.
Looks like it's going to be offsetting technicals. Both of them got one.
Morris was tied up down low and kind of collapsed on top of Xavier Amos. And then Duro Sinmay was jawing at him, and Morris barked back. And so I believe it will be those two guys to get the technicals, as the officials are going to meet here to sort this out. And Travis Steele is in Jaquel Morris's face right now, just trying to calm him down a little bit. 13-13 to go, second half.
Well, in a good crowd on hand at Millett tonight for Tuesday night. We couldn't hear at all what the two players were jawing about, and we're about as close to the floor as anybody. Must have been something pretty obscene if it got Jaquel Morris that quick of a technical foul. I mean,
yeah, it was
right away.
The official on the near side, like you said. I mean, it was. I mean, you look up, saw him say 1 or 2 words, and the tech was out. So something was said. So the officials, looks like, might go to the monitor briefly to review something. 13-13 left in the half with Miami up 2. Again, the foul for Miami on Jaquel Morris, the technical foul for the moment, and then on Northern Illinois, Oluwashi and Duro Sinmay picks up the foul.
If I'm as good of a lip reader as I think I am, I'm not very good, but I believe I read the ref's lips saying it will still be Miami's basketball underneath due to the offsetting technical foul, so Miami should have possession coming out of this break. Just a weird kind of like situation under the basket, because the two guys got just initially caught up, and it wasn't even the player down. It was Amos for Northern Illinois that Morris collided with under the basket, and Amos was fine. He was down on the floor, but he wasn't involved in that whole altercation. His teammate came to his defense, and that was when things started to get chaotic. And usually the two guys involved, when they go down that hard, can kind of diffuse a situation on their own by just checking on each other to make sure they're okay, but getting a third party involved is no good for anybody.
So the officials are at the monitor here. Morris.
That's a big foul too, Luke. That puts NIU into the bonus now as well.
Yep. Yeah, Jaquel's gonna, looks like, take a seat for now for Miami. Evan Ipsaro's getting some tending to by the training staff. He's got some black tape that's been applied to his upper right arm. And Ipsaro, I mean, he's a bulldog. That's what Travis Steele calls him. And he's just been so banged up over the last month. He's been a regular at the trainer's table. So the officials are giving the explanation of the TV team right now, and we are awaiting signal for anything. Travis Steele's trying to protest something here.
Well, it looks like our TV play-by-play guys are kind of in shock with the refs' decisions. We'll see what they end up going with here.
Ball is being carried to Northern Illinois' offensive side of the floor. So the call has been, it's different than what we thought. It's just a personal and a technical on Morris. And so Durasinme did not get a foul there, and Morris got 2, and so that will give Northern Illinois the technical free throws and the ball as Coit buries the first one and hits the second. So that ties the game at 42 with 13:13 to go in the second. And that has further frustrated Travis Steele, who thought that this was just going to be an even split and we were just going to get the offsetting tees and move on. But this has turned the tides a little bit in favor of the Huskies. And now, as Will said, they'll be shooting the bonus the rest of the way. And they've got the ball moving left to right with the game tied at 42. Lob to the basket, looking for the alley-oop. It wouldn't go, but the kick out for Nutter opened up a good look. He misses the corner three. Dean racing ahead, finds the cutting Elmer, and he scores. That's huge for Miami.
What a pass, Bradley Dean, and I wasn't sure Elmer was going to catch that heat-seeking missile, but he was able to corral it and go for 2.
Elmer was falling backward while moving forward. Still got that up and scored. Amos throws it over the basket. Put back by Ibargüen, rolls off. 2 good looks missed there by Northern Illinois, and the RedHawks get the rebound. Marambo and Ipsaro play catch. Ipsaro out for Bradley Dean on the far side. Gets to the paint, stops his feet and picks up his dribble. Back out for Ipsaro. Now it's Dean again in the near corner. 44-42 Miami with 12-12 left to play in regulation. 8 to shoot for the RedHawks. It's Marambo from the key. Handing off Elmer. Down the lane from the elbow, fades away. That was nowhere close. Marambo trying to protest that he batted that out of the air into the bottom of the rim. But it will be called a shot clock violation on Miami with 12:02 left in the half.
I'm not going to lie, look, it kind of looks like, I'm not sure what the ruling is on that, if it's allowed to hit the bottom of the rim, but it looks like Marambo did hit the bottom of the rim, but I guess refs disagree with him.
So we crossed the 8-minute mark here in the second half, and it's Miami by 2 over Northern Illinois as this game remains tight as it has since about the halfway mark of the first. Coit stops, now accelerates towards the rim and puts it back out for Nutter. Now it's Coit again, and out of control with his dribble. He travels, and the Northern Illinois bench explodes on the far side as they thought Coit got fouled. And Rashawn Burno in the ear of the official as we head to the media timeout. Well, the RedHawks avoided disaster a little bit over those last couple of minutes. That really could have gone in the direction of Northern Illinois momentum-wise. Miami weathered the storm, and they've kept the lead. It's RedHawk basketball on the other side of the break. Miami up 2. You're listening to Miami Basketball on RedHawk Radio. 11:45 left to go, second half. Luke West, Poley, and Will Summers with you as Miami leads Northern Illinois 44-42. And it's Red Hawk basketball coming out of the timeout. And, Will, that last sequence could have gone really bad for Miami when Jaquel Morris picked up the technical foul in addition to the common foul. Northern Illinois tied up the game and had the basketball, but the Red Hawks got a stop and a quick bucket, and they've been in control, and that's something that felt necessary at that point in the game.
Best case scenario for the Red Hawks for sure, to only give up really 2 points on that possession.
Alley-oop play looking for Elmer was tipped out of bounds. And last touch is against the Red Hawks, and so Northern Illinois will get the basketball back here with 11:29 left to go in the half, down 2. Coit up ahead for NIU. 15 points for the 5'11 junior guard. Coit shimmying over to the far wing for Amos. And now to the flank for Nutter. Game high 17 for him. Works to the paint. Nutter through the trees. Can't finish. Collects the rebound. Goes back up. Gets fouled. And the roll. Zarik Nutter up to 19. A chance for his 5th 20-point game over his last 9. If he can hit this free throw, Northern Illinois has tied the game with 11:01 to go in the second.
And Luke, that's his 3rd and 1 layup of the day. And he's just such an impressive player when he gets around the rim for being, he's a kind of a smaller forward. He's just so impressive with his touch around the rim. We mentioned during the break, that's a guy you want to have on your team for sure, because he can hit, he's a leader and he can really score at will whenever he wants.
Nutter's free throw bounces through. Nutter coming off an 11-point performance against Eastern Michigan this weekend. 20 points to give Northern Illinois a 45-44 lead. Darwishi Hunter carrying the ball up the floor. The former Husky transfer in from NIU has been very quiet. No points for Miami's grad student leader. Marambo works his way down the right side, gets to the baseline, now swirls, and he gets fouled.
Luke, you mentioned Hunter not having any points. It is a little demoralizing, probably for him as well. But you go into these games, you're wondering if you kind of press too hard, try to play well against your former team, and end up kind of hurting yourself with that.
Still plenty of time for Hunter to make an impact. Inbound to Marambo, working his way to the paint. Sky hook rattles out. Physical offensive rebound by Elmer, and he is fouled. Xavier Amos is whistled.
I was convinced that was a jump ball, Luke.
Yeah, I thought the same, just based off what I saw. But yeah, the official signal is that it was a foul. It's actually going to be on Lovings Watts, but still on Northern Illinois, and Miami gets a 3rd chance on this possession. Inbound finds Dean, catch and shoot 3 for the near corner, off the inside of the rim and out. His defender fell down, trying to get after him in the corner, but Dean can't hit, and it's NIU by 1 with the ball. All the way around the defense, Coit down the left lane with a full head of steam. Kiss off the window for 2. 47-44 Huskies, first time they've led by 3. Ipsaro is fouled, just holding the basketball, working it around the top. So fortunately now, if you're Miami, you're starting to get Northern Illinois fouling a little bit more after the Huskies went the first 6 minutes or so without fouling at all. They've now picked up their 4th as a team.
And after a relatively clean first half of play, it's been whistles aplenty so far here in the second half, as both teams combining for 12 fouls already with 10 to go.
Still plenty of time left in this one. RedHawks trail by 3. Northern Illinois has got their largest lead of the game. Haven't put it into 2 possessions ever. They led by 1, 2, and 3 in separate instances. Dean on the right side, works his way through. Hard contact. That's another foul. It'll be on Nutter. Man, Bradley Dean got battered there trying to go into the paint. His head whipped back. And that's the 5th team foul. First on Nutter. Northern Illinois has got Miami approaching the bonus here.
You tell me Nutter is a large body receiver in the NFL, and I'd believe you. He's got the body for it for sure.
6'7", and he's got that muscular build. He's been a solid defender in addition to really striking offense in this game. Hunter pulls up for the right elbow. It's off the heel. Rebound by Amos for Northern Illinois. Coit brings it ahead with a slow step. Dribbles between the legs. Now darts to the hoop. Kicks to the corner. Nearly out of bounds. Lovings-Watts saves it. Whips around. Extra pass. Far corner three from Coit. Missed it short. Hunter on the rebound for Miami. Ahead Ian Elmer. Left flank. Back out Darwishi Hunter. Works his way back in Miami into the half-court set. 9:09 to go second half. 47-44. Huskies over RedHawks. Cooper back now forward to the hoop, and he's fouled. Oh, goodness. Lovings-Watts with the block. But with two guys guarding the shooter, Lovings-Watts will get called for the foul, and it'll send Makai Cooper to the free throw line.
Really good drive by Cooper there, and although it's been a slow, very slow 31 minutes of play for Darwishi Hunter, he can't be discouraged by some of those missed shots as Cooper knocks in the first one. Hunter's one of the reasons Miami has gotten so much success this year, and one of the reasons they've amassed 11 wins already. He's a pivotal part of this team, and even though he's missing some shots so far this game, he can't stop shooting the rock.
0 for 5 on the game from the field as Cooper makes the second free throw. Also keep an eye on Miami's brought Bryce Boltman back onto the floor with 4 fouls. Just trying to get those defensive stops. He's one of the best guys they have on that side of the floor. 47-46. Northern Illinois over Miami. Coit stumbling back, takes a contested left wing three, swirls the iron, and a foul on the rebound on the RedHawks. Durasimne got in there and got 2 hands on the basketball. The foul is on Makai Cooper of Miami.
Much bigger body, Durasimne just working his way around Reese Potter. And you mentioned Bryce Boltman on the floor with 4 fouls. That's going to be an interesting development down the stretch. As he's a veteran, so he'll know how to play without fouling, but definitely a scary moment for the RedHawks.
Check that, foul was on Potter. High teardrop free throw falls through for Durasimne, the 63% free throw shooter. Not a huge offensive guy. He's got no attempts from the field today. He's only made 2 field goals in a game once this season against Illinois Institute of Technology in a non-D1 game.
INT.
Second one in the air, and that falls as well. That free throw goes over the height of the shot clock above the backboard.
It's a mean arc.
49-46, Northern Illinois in front of Miami with 8:40 left to play. Mentioned Boltman with the 4 fouls. Fortunate on that last play. He was kind of tied up with Durasimne as well, but they got Potter instead. Elmer, near side, crossover dribble, stumbles and loses the basketball. Up ahead, Lovings-Watts gets around the D and lays it home for 2. Miami's got to be careful here. First 2 possession lead for Northern Illinois of the game, 51-46 with 8:12 to go in the second. Unfamiliar territory in this one for the RedHawks. Boltman to Cooper. Northern Illinois swarming to the basketball a little more here. Boltman down the right lane. High arcing shot off the window and it won't fall. Huskies get the rebound. Nutter to the paint. Kick out Lovings-Watts on the near side. Won't pull the trigger. Russell just dribbling softly with the left hand. Bouncing off for Nutter. He's doubled. Russell across. 3 from Amos. Missed it right with under 10 on the shot clock. Miami needed that one to find its way out, and it did. RedHawks down 5 with 7:26 to go in the second. Potter pumps the 3. Hands off for Hunter up top. Hunter backing up. Overhead feed finds Makai Cooper. Bubble of space for him. Right-handed shot off the heel. Rebound loose. Elmer goes down on the floor for it. Tie up for the basketball. And it is a jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of the RedHawks. Heck of an effort by the Miami freshman Ian Elmer to get down and dirty for the basketball. And Miami will get another chance on this possession when we come back. 7:10 to go, second half. Northern Illinois leading Miami 51-46. We're back to Millett Hall after this. You're listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. 51-46 our score, with the Huskies leading the RedHawks. Miami got a much-needed three-point miss and then a gutsy offensive rebound and jump ball by Ian Elmer to keep this thing going for Miami on offense. Marambo gets fouled under the hoop, coming out of the timeout. And for a RedHawk team that had gone nearly 2 minutes without scoring, Marambo to the free throw line will certainly help out the cause.
And a RedHawk team that has not shot a lot of free throws in this half as well, as they were leading the NIU by a lot in free throw attempts at half. NIU has surpassed them.
Marambo drops through the first free throw. Northern Illinois only shot one free throw in the first half. Miami shot 13. They only hit 6 of them, but Miami's now got the bonus with the next foul. Marambo puts the next free throw long. Miami had 5 free throws. Check that in the first half out of 7. But the RedHawks do get it back within 4, 51-47, here with 6:53 left to go in the second half. From the baseline, a wild shot put up and a tap back as well from Lovings-Watts. The tip out of bounds after neither falls goes Northern Illinois' way.
Well, Luke, you have me box score watching again, and it's pretty baffling that you can shoot 6 threes, make 6 threes at home in the first half and still not be able to pull away. But it's been a testament to how well NIU's rebounded the ball.
Northern Illinois still with the advantage there pretty heavily, 39-25. The advantage on the glass is another block near the basket, and Sean Burno is just beside himself on the Northern Illinois bench that there was no foul. So another inbound, and Amos pure on the turnaround. Lead up to 6 for NIU. They continue to inch their way forward in this game. Ipsaro nearly gave it away. Instead, Cooper open for 3 from the near corner. It falls out. Oh, the RedHawks really could have used that one. Better than the alternative, which was a turnover at half court, as Ipsaro nearly gifted that ball for a transition bucket. Miami could use a stop here with 6:07 to go in the second, down 6. Nutter up top for Lovings-Watts. Down the left lane. Kicks out for Coit in the near flank. Coit floats it up, and he got it. And Miami's defense starting to flake here a little bit over the last couple of minutes as NIU has grown the lead to 8. Ipsaro bounces in for Marambo. Marambo shoulders in. Got it back out for Ipsaro, albeit a little wild, and Ipsaro's pass across is deflected and taken away. Amos pulls it off the deck for Northern Illinois. 5:26 to go, second half. Huskies by 8 and the ball. Coit will settle things down. Slings near wing, and Nutter can't handle. It's taken away by Ipsaro. Ipsaro no-look feed. Hunter, heat check 3. Oh, yeah! Timeout, RedHawks.
Needed that.
Absolutely. Darwishi Hunter finally on the scoreboard after an 0 for 5 start against his former team. He knocks in the 3 to stop the bleeding, and Miami gets it back down to 5, 55-50 with 5:11 to go.
And really, I like that timeout call by Coach Steele, as able to set up your defense. And still, although, albeit Darwish Hunter just drilled a 3, he's Miami not in the offensive state that they need to be in these last 5 minutes and 11 seconds of play to really take the lead and win the ball game. So Coach Steele just got to calm the troops down and words of encouragement and send it back out there and hope for the best.
So Miami going through another cold stretch here. But the Darwishi Hunter three-pointer will certainly help for this RedHawk team, as Miami will try to get back over 500 before they take a brief trip away from home and get out of conference play for a little bit. Max Sun Belt Challenge coming up on Saturday. Those games are determined by RPI at mid-season, so we actually didn't know who the RedHawks were going to play until a couple of weeks ago when it was announced that, conveniently enough, both the men and the women were going to play Georgia State. That's not always the case that the men and the women play the same team. The women will play here. We'll have that game for you on Saturday afternoon on Red Hawk Radio. The men go to Georgia State, but that's a game that means a little more to Travis Steele because his right-hand man in his former job at Xavier, Jonas Hayes, is now the head coach at Georgia State. He was his associate head coach for his last couple of years with the Xavier Musketeers, took over during the NIT run as the interim Coach Hayes and bringing Xavier an NIT title a couple of years ago.
He was a coveted commodity coming out of the coaching carousel a couple years back as well.
He's a young head coach. That Georgia State job is his first head coaching job. He's a Georgia alum. And at the time, he was one of those young guys that you knew within a few years. I'm sure Travis Steele knew as well. He wasn't going to be able to keep him around forever. I'm sure he probably tried to bring him to Miami when he decided to come here, but just one of those guys that was bound to take a head coaching position somewhere at some point. That'll certainly be a really fun game between those two teams and two coaches that know each other very well coming up on Saturday in Atlanta.
I mean, just in general, college basketball, could it get more exciting than it is right now? I mean, you look across top 25, teams falling, teams rising. Team that we really like, South Carolina, they're a big win tonight, and just a bunch of sleeper teams that not a bunch of blue bloods in the top 25, but it's a fun year of college basketball.
It's been a lot of new kids on the block. I feel like we might be ushering in a new era of powerhouses in college basketball. Out of the timeout, Nutter left all alone as Boltman fell down in the paint, and they find him for the dunk. Travis Steele is fuming with the official on the far side as Miami's back down 7 with 4:44 to go in the game. 57-50. Dean, 3 for the right side, swirls off. Rebound by Amos, but he throws it out of bounds to the near side. Into the hands of Miami radio man Terry Bridge right in front of us. It'll go back to the RedHawks with 4.5 left to play. Miami down 7.
Steele was contesting a possible moving screen call that he thought was missed on Bryce Boltman, which led to Boltman going down and really an easy dunk for NIU.
Feels like a gotta-have-it possession for the RedHawks. 10 to shoot. Cooper up top. Hunter, a 3. Missed it left. Coit on the rebound for the Huskies. 57-50 NIU. 4:16 left to play. Coit around to the far wing. Chance of defense from the RedHawk bench. Coit and Amos exchange. It's Coit again. Heat check 3. Bounces off from the left side. And the RedHawks get the board. It's Boltman ahead for Miami now for Marambo up top. Marambo downhill, swatted at the basket. Durosimne got his hand on it and knocks it out of bounds. It'll stay with Miami with 20 seconds left to shoot, and the RedHawks will get a chance to chat about it coming out of this timeout. 3:52 left to go, second half. Miami going to need some late magic from Millett Hall. Back for the finish of this one when we come back. You're listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. 2:52 left to go, second half. It's RedHawk basketball. Going to need a quick turnaround, down 7, 57-50. Miami very cold, 1 for their last 9 from the field. Going to need to heat up down the stretch to try and avoid dropping a game to a team sitting at the bottom of the MAC right now. Dean, step back 3 off the inbound. Book it from the near side.
Needed it.
Needed it for Bradley Dean. That gets the RedHawks back within 4. A nice play coming out of the timeout, drawn up by Coach Steele. 57-53, but with 3:33 left to go in the second half. Nutter from the far corner, guarded by Boltman with 4 fouls. Works in on him, floats it up. Gets a bad roll, and the rebound falls into the arms of Darwishi Hunter for the RedHawks. Got a 3, got to stop. And Travis Steele gets everybody's attention on the floor for a set play. 5 guys around the arc for Miami. It's Dean working in for Marambo, tapped away. Dean has it back. He's doubled. Cooper, Boltman, Hunter in the near corner. His 3 won't go. And it's Amos on the rebound for Northern Illinois. 2:52 left to play. NIU by 4.
Would have been gigantic for Darwishi Hunter to drill a 3 there, but Miami's got to lock up on this defensive possession.
Lovings-Watts from the far side. Puts it back up for Coit. 7 on the shot clock. Coit takes a long 2 and hits. Timeout Huskies. Playmakers doing it down the stretch for NIU. David Coit just held the basketball there until the shot clock was waning. He hits a long 2 to put the Huskies back up 6, 59-53 with 2:29 to go in the second. 30-second timeout here. NIU's got 2 left, so does Miami.
Pretty remarkable. NIU's played a total of 9 guys in this game, and only 5 of them have scored. Just shows you the kind of workload that Coit and Nutter have been under all day long as they've combined, let's see if my math's correct, for 41 points of the 59 NIU points, really carrying the load for this NIU offense.
And you look at Miami, and it's the complete opposite. Reese Potter leads the team in scoring with 10. No one else is in double digits. For the RedHawks, Ryan Mabry is the only player that's seen the floor that has not scored, as the RedHawks have 9 guys in the score column in this game.
Miami can't freak out here on this possession. Don't need a 3 at all. Just go get yourself an easy 2 if the opportunity presents itself.
Northern Illinois with a little press here on the inbound, and now they'll release it once Miami gets the ball in. It's Makai Cooper across the timeline for the RedHawks. Cooper bouncing for Bradley Dean on the far side. He's had a hot shooting stroke in this game. Dean rounds and hands to Cooper on the near wing. Flipped out to the far side. Hunter left open for 3. Got it!
Well, we'll take a 3.
You'll take a 3 if you can get it. Darwishi Hunter, his second bucket from deep. Hasn't been his night, but trying to will Miami back into this one down the stretch. It's a 3-point game with 1:55 left to go. Coit around a screen on the far side. Thought about a step back 3. He's pressed up against the bench, but finds a way to outlet. Coit has it back now. Around another screen to the near wing. Dishes back out. Amos's 3 from straight away. That's off target, and Boltman grabs the rebound for the RedHawks.
Again, don't need a 3. A quick 2 works.
Dean gonna take a 3 in the corner. Swirls out. Boltman swats back the rebound for Miami, and all the way into the backcourt. Makai Cooper races it down for the RedHawks. Dean on the far side. Comes around a screen, hands for Cooper. Cooper working around, flips to Hunter. Deep 3 off the heel. Another offensive board for Boltman, but a foul. Oh, goodness. Bryce Boltman had that one fall into his arms a little too easily. And that's foul number 5. And that will let Northern Illinois walk the floor for the 2 free throws.
Ref just, I thought it was a little weak, but there was definitely an extension of the arm there the ref saw, and I think the NIU player sold it well enough that the ref bought it, and there definitely was contact, but one that could have slid to some referees.
Not sure what we've got going on here. There's kind of a timeout of sorts with each team gathering at their bench. Officials aren't discussing. No one called timeout, but guess just getting things sorted out with Boltman. Ian Elmer's going to take his spot.
They're trying to keep him on the floor, even though NIU has 2 shots. I thought he would have to stay for the first free throw, but no harm, no foul on each side.
Yep. So Amos will shoot 2. He's a 68% free throw shooter this season. He's 1 for 2 from the stripe today. His team leads by 3 with 66 seconds remaining, and he buries the first free throw. And man, that foul by Boltman just leaves you wondering what might have been on that last possession for Miami. They had so many chances. Just couldn't finish. Amos's second shot bounces off the heel, so that's helpful for Miami. Keeps it a 4-point game as we cross under 1 minute left to play. 60-56 Northern Illinois. Bradley Dean gets to the paint, pulls up from the elbow, missed it. Elmer, offensive rebound, and he's fouled going back up.
Wow, this game just got a whole lot more interesting with free throws down the stretch. And really a testament to NIU's mental strength to stay in this ball game with how far down they fell in the first half of play. Miami really could have ran away with the ball game in the first half, but NIU stayed tough, and we got a ball game on our hands.
Elmer can't hit the first free throw. Reese Potter races out of his seat on the Miami bench and will come on for Anderson Marambo.
Interesting decision here. If a miss is to occur from Elmer, you probably don't foul. You probably let the possession play out, but definitely a decision time for Coach Steele.
Potter makes the second free throw.
Doesn't matter.
So that makes it a 3-point game, 60-57 with 48 seconds and counting remaining. Northern Illinois can run the shot clock down, get this to about 19 to 20 seconds before they're required to take a shot. Nutter on the far wing, 22 points for him. Makes his way to the basket, flips to the near side for Loving-Zwatz. He'll reset it back up top for Coit. 10 to shoot. Coit, step back 3, off target, rebound, pulled down by Ian Elmer for Miami. Shot clock is dark. Miami takes it across half court, and Travis Steele signals for a timeout right away, and that was definitely the move for the RedHawks in that situation, as Elmer got a little bit trapped there going across half court. And also you want to remind your players, Will, that you don't want to hold here until the buzzer. You need to go attack the basket and get something up.
And the basketball junkie in me called the timeout for Coach Steele, and it was interesting to see his thought process.
He thought about it.
It was that second of the contemplation where he looked at his coaching staff and they said, yeah, called the timeout. And I thought personally that the refs missed a travel on Coit on the other end of the ball. A little step back 3. He thought he took one too many steps.
He did a little James Harden.
It was a long way to travel for a shorter guy. Again, no harm, no foul. RedHawks still got a chance.
So Miami down 3 with 18.6 seconds remaining with the basketball. Both teams are in the bonus. Northern Illinois in the double bonus. Huskies with 8 fouls, so Miami will shoot the 1-and-1 one more time should they get fouled.
Like you mentioned, Luke, you don't need a 3. You really don't. You just attack the basket hard, and you try to get us on the inbound. Worst case scenario, you foul again. And again, they make both, or they miss one. They make both. You're exactly in the spot you left off on with one timeout left.
How long does this get down for Northern Illinois if you're playing strong defense before you maybe think about fouling up 3?
I think it's got to be like 8 seconds. Is probably the benchmark for the NIU coaching staff.
Obviously, if you're Miami, you're hoping you can get up a shot before that happens, but see if that comes into effect. All right, here we go. 18.6 seconds to go. Miami's got 1 timeout left. Northern Illinois with 2. RedHawks down by 3. Darwishi Hunter inbounding for Miami. Hunter gets it in for Makai Cooper for the RedHawks. Finds Marambo at the far elbow. Marambo working his way through, and he gets fouled. He lost the basketball. And palms to the sky for Duro Simne, who can't believe he got whistled for that.
I might be with him. I didn't see a whole lot of contact there. Again, it's been a lot more ticky-tacky fouls called here in the second half of play, so I understand the refs' kind of thought process there and definitely put a little bit more of a microscope on the fouls. But again, the way the first half ended, I didn't expect that to be called at all.
12.7 seconds left, Miami down 3. Marambo shoots the 1-and-1. He's a 62% free throw shooter. And he clatters through the first.
Huge.
That is huge for Miami. Miami's got Elmer and Hunter, the two wings, lined up. Trying to go after a rebound. Inside positioning here for Northern Illinois for Duro-Simne, along with Amos. Marambo's second free throw. Drops through. All right, 1-point game with 12.7 to go. RedHawks could technically force a 10-second, but it's turnover and then foul for Miami. 60-59, the Husky lead with 12.7 seconds left. Again, Northern Illinois' got 2 timeouts here in case things go sour.
Yeah, they got to target Coit. It has to be Coit here.
They'll get it in. They do give it to Coit on the far side. He lofts it ahead, and it's Lovings-Watts who's finally fouled with 5.6 left to go. Hands on heads on the Miami bench. They let 6 seconds come off the clock before a foul was committed. Great job by Northern Illinois there with the RedHawks pressing to pass the ball around and kill some time, but do so in a safe enough way without risking turnover.
I had the same thought process the Miami coaching staff had. It was going to be Coit. They double-teamed him, left Hunter.
First free throw is made by Lovings-Watts.
Nutter, rather, left Nutter wide open on the press break, and like you mentioned, really great press break from NIU.
Anderson Marambo into the game for Miami, 61-59, the Northern Illinois lead. Calls a box out from the Miami bench. NIU up 2, second free throw, right through. 62-59 with 5.6 seconds to play.
Maybe an immediate foul for, maybe not immediate, but foul for Northern Illinois.
Darwishi Hunter carries it ahead for Miami. He's waiting on the signal and a timeout called by Travis Steele in Miami.
That would have been prime opportunity for NIU to foul.
NIU had great chance. Hunter picked up his dribble, had 2 Huskies right next to him, and they didn't foul him, and Travis Steele got the timeout off. So the officials are going to the monitor to look for clock. There's 1.8 seconds left as it stands. But for NIU, you've essentially let Miami get a free opportunity, at least at a catch-and-shoot 3 to tie the game here. We'll see, though, because the other side of that for the RedHawks is you think about some of the clutch plays they've had late, and Travis Steele has not liked to call timeout because he wants to get the ball into Darwishi Hunter's hands. He said that against Akron, that was the reason why he didn't call timeout, is Darwishi Hunter already had the basketball, which he had it there. Now you call timeout, and you'd imagine Rashad Burno has to know that that's where the RedHawks want to go. RedHawks will get a little more time here. 2.2 seconds on the clock, so they put up 0.4. And Miami down 3 will inbound from the near sideline, down by 3 points, 62-59.
And Luke, I mean, I know what my answer would be, but it's kind of odd to see Darwishi Hunter inbounding the ball, maybe a give and go to him, but who do you expect Miami to get it to here?
See if maybe Bradley Dean comes off the edge. Here's the inbound for the RedHawks. It's a high ball, and it's intercepted by the Huskies, and they'll dribble it out.
Wow.
Stunning end to that game. That ball was just rainbowed into the paint, and really no chance.
And
wow.
Kind of speechless. You got a guy that's hit multiple buzzer beater threes, and you have him inbound the ball. I'm not sure I know what to say, honestly.
So Miami falls to Northern Illinois. The Huskies pick up their second straight win in conference play, and they beat Miami 62-59 here from Millett Hall. The RedHawks fall to 11-12, 5-6 in the Mid-American Conference. They've lost their second straight game. They'll look to rebound on the road in Atlanta coming up on Saturday in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge against Georgia State for Northern Illinois. They'll try to keep their winning ways going in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge on the road in Mobile against the Jaguars of South Alabama coming up this Saturday at 2 p.m. That's a disappointing way to end it, Will, for Miami. But for this team, I mean, you let a Northern Illinois squad that you could have run away with in the first half kind of hang around in this game, and they punished you for it late.
Again, I'm not sure I can really formulate the words to describe just how crushing of a loss that really was. I mean, we mentioned before, I mean, the top 8 seeds make the MAC tournament, and this is a game that you had to have in the MAC standings. Bottom of the conference team, they were better than the record, we mentioned that, but a game at home against a team that is just as good, most likely not as good as you. You have to take care of that, and Miami did not today.
So the RedHawks fall and drop to 5-6 in the MAC, 11-12 overall. Once again, they'll be back in action on Saturday against Georgia State. Miami will next be here at home coming up next Saturday. They'll have a full week and a half before they're back here, as they won't have a game in the midweek next week. That's the bye week of sorts in the MAC for Miami, and feels like they could use it with some of the state of health that their team is at right now. They will take on Ball State coming up a week from Saturday in their next time at home. We'll be back on the air tomorrow for women's basketball against Buffalo before a packed weekend of hockey and hoops coming up on Friday and Saturday. Tomorrow, the women's game beginning at 7 o'clock, and that is when our coverage will begin here on Red Hawk Radio, and we hope you will tune in then. So for Will Summers and the rest of our great Red Hawk Radio crew, I'm Luke West Poley saying so long. Thanks so much for tuning in. 62-59 our score. NIU beats Miami. We now send it over to Andrew Relvas to get things wrapped up with our Red Hawk Radio postgame.
Thanks, Luke. Tough game for the Miami RedHawks. They unfortunately fall to the NIU Huskies 62-59 in a real back and forth slugfest between these two Mid-American Conference rivals. This was a game from tip to finish that, you know, it felt like Miami was going to run away with, like Luke was talking about at the end of that one, but Miami just couldn't close them out, and that's kind of what led to a disappointing loss here at home for the Miami RedHawks. They lose by 3, and a ton of different things kind of went wrong for the RedHawks. Starting off, the RedHawks, they shot 10 for 27 from 3. That's not going to get it done, especially at the end. That percentage is fine, but it's the type of shots that they were shooting at the end. They just kind of chucked up a few shots here and there, and they unfortunately didn't fall for the RedHawks. They were really quiet with the 3 ball, especially in that second half, and they missed a few free throws here and there. Also, they didn't shoot the ball very well. They only shot 35% from the floor, shot 35% in total for the entire game, so it was a pretty below average game for the RedHawks. Meanwhile, for NIU, this was a half where they shot 0 for 9 from 3, but they made 12 for 14 in free throws. So pretty much a flip-flop from last half. You have them when they're completely off from three-point range, and, you know, they don't make a single shot, and you still lose by 3. Just a complete meltdown by the RedHawks, and, you know, the turnover battle, it was right there. In terms of rebounding, we talked about it all pregame show long. NIU, they were such a big lineup. They were going to out-rebound you, and the RedHawks unfortunately had their hands full, and they fell to a team that's better than the record, the NIU Huskies, 62-59 in a hard-fought contest here from Millett Hall. The next game for the RedHawks will be on the road at Georgia State, the MAC versus Sun Belt Challenge on Saturday at 2 o'clock. That'll be on ESPN+. Make sure to tune into that one. And then our next Red Hawk Radio men's basketball game will be versus Ball State here on Saturday, February 17th at 3:30. Make sure to tune into that one. We'll have the pregame at 3 o'clock. Should be a fun one. Leading scorer for the day was Reese Potter, as well as Bryce Boltman with 8. Ian Elmer with 8 as well. Reese Potter with 10 for NIU. It was 22 from Zarik Nutter. He got it done on all facets of the floor. And the RedHawks fall to the NIU Huskies. So make sure to join us in our next Red Hawk Radio broadcast versus Ball State here from Millett Hall. About a week from this Saturday. It'll be against Ball State, and the RedHawks desperately trying to rack up some wins as we head into the home stretch of the season for the Miami RedHawks. Well, that's going to do it here from Millett Hall. My name is Andrew Relvas. So glad you could be here with us from Oxford. RedHawks fall to the NIU Huskies 62-59 in a hard-fought contest. Stay tuned for more Red Hawk Radio action tomorrow for the women's basketball team as they take on the Buffalo Bulls here at home. Thanks so much for tuning in, and have a great rest of your night.